We are back speaking about this saga with Charlie Kirk, a very controversial figure, one who really tests the bounds of what we can call Christianity. I think that the way he was murdered is really unfortunate and shows a decline in our civilization. However, it does bring forward many meaningful conversations. What does it mean to be a Christian? Um, are we allowing people to pretend to be moderates when really they're outright racist? Are the blacks, especially them Africans, still very colonial in their mindset, white wannabes? Um, do we get equal justice? There were how many murders that day? What is it, about 18,000 gun related murders per annum? Do they all get investigated at this level? Well, why did the FBI offer 100K for his killer? Um, so many questions, and I'm looking forward to having the conversation as we go through the footage. Feel free to use the information below to send in your comments, questions, or URLs. I want to look at who the killer is. I understand that it's white on white crime, and you really hate to see something like that. White on white crime, usual suspects. You hate to see something like that. But my hope is that we can take this beyond the fake crying and fake sadness that you observe from many of the YouTubers who claim to be so broken up about it, yet they did 10 lives since the gentleman passed. They didn't even take a moment to digest it. I actually had to take a day off yesterday, and as much as there was just so much going on spiritually as a result. But those who claim so much to care about him, boy, they did 15 live sessions because they knew that the views would be there. So shows you how inauthentic these people are. But hey, those of you with intelligence should have known that. Anyways, we have someone who wants attention already. I wish to join the live. I see. All we ask is that you would turn on your camera and refrain from cursing. If I find that you curse after I've told you not to curse, you will be removed because it reveals that you are not a good person and that you probably have low IQ and probably malicious intentions. And I would also like to empower my moderators to be aggressive, which is what I recommend to the Saints in general. This is something that's core to Boston University. It will benefit you. So here is the link. That's the link to join on. If you have a argumentative point, this is not to come on and say, hey, I love your stuff. You don't love my stuff, most of you. You like it, you're entertained. If you loved it, you'd be a member. You would have come out to events. I would have already met you. So don't lie to yourself. Unless maybe you're in like Central African Republic. I get it. If you're in Chad or Cote d'Ivoire, I get it. But if you're not, don't lie. Be accurate with your language. So this is a link not to say, hey, I love your stuff. This is a link to come on because you're a real, you're a black person in whiteface, and you would like to explain why Charlie Kirk, why black people should care that he's left the building.
Y'all, do you hear me?
What is your purpose here, sir?
I just really wanted to see your takes on the situation about him. I know a lot of people are clout chasing about the situation, but I really wanted to see people's view as far as.
What is your purpose here, sir?
Just a viewer.
Okay, so if you guys ever wonder why there are claims that blacks are low IQ, these would be examples of such. The fact of the matter is that I've invited people on with a specific purpose. And as a man, you should not be a seeker of attention. You should be one who is productive. I'm not here to converse with you. We're not friends. We're not familiar at all. I've specifically opened the floor to the bootlickers who believe that Charlie Kirk's death matters in general. And I would like to hear their arguments and have a discussion, for it might lead to some fruitful thinking for the people who are in the middle. I'm not here to act like I'm familiar with people that I've never met in my entire life. I'm not an internet person. I'm not a celebrity. I'm a regular guy just like you who is probably a lot more intolerant than you. So please, I would advise you again to use the brain cells that you do have effectively. Okay? Thank you. Anyways, let's go ahead and carry on. and this is why I tell women, like, listen, you goofy broads are going to have to cling to one man because there are so few men.
Live to Utah, where US officials are giving an update on the manhunt for President Donald Trump, reporting.
We will hear from Governor Cox, Bowles, and local and federal law enforcement partners. Following the remarks today,
on the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the
Wait, hold on. You telling me his own family snitched on him? That's exactly what the government wants. The government wants your families and your communities to be so weak that you would sell out your own kin, your own flesh and blood, people you've known your whole life. You'd sell them out to the government. That's what the government actually wants, because the government is not for the people. I think that heinous crimes should certainly be reported. And when I say heinous crimes, I'm talking about the abuse of minors, namely, or, sexual deviance in all of its varieties. This is perfect. The government loves this. They can get you guys to tell on each other, rat on each other. And, really, I'd say, we should probably collaborate with the government if our government was righteous. But it turns out that our government is extraordinarily foul. I mean, just imagine senior citizens who've paid off their homes being kicked out of their homes because they can't pay taxes. Taxes to whom? The government. Oh, I thought the government was supposed to help you. I thought taxes were supposed to be in your favor. So why do we have property taxes at all? I don't think they benefit anyone. Why do we even have income tax? Shouldn't have that at all. There should be consumption tax, which is, say you purchase something, you pay 10% to the government. That's it. You wouldn't have the whole industry of tax returns and all that crap. And it'd be very simple. It's not simple on purpose. Come on now. But anyways, we have some disgusting being who ratted on someone who they grew up with. I just think that's a very low thing personally.
Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them.
That's a curious necktie for this fellow. He looks like a very middle management bureaucrat type. A very interesting tie. Shout out to Travis, very first person to support the work, came in before I even started. He comes in via Venmo. He writes, I haven't supported as much as I would like lately, because I'm saving for a trip with the new girlfriend and family. Thanks for the unbiased perspective, as always. I appreciate that. And saving is a beautiful thing. Saving is what we're supposed to be doing, as opposed to, I don't know, like credit. Debt. No, saving is smart. That is actually how that's supposed to happen. Very good. May I also acknowledge Yusuf supporting the work, comes in by PayPal, writes much love. May I also acknowledge Wayne. He writes, peace of the saints, did my abdominal exercise day 1 of 15. Sweat is the holy water. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to post that on the member sites. The ab challenge did start today, 15 days straight, first thing in the morning, 3 variations of exercise. Tag me on Instagram at Marquette Devon, and I'll reshare. Carrying on.
Or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger.
Listen, what I really want from all of this, and this is primarily why I'm listening, is I want to hear the motive of the shooter. I want to know precisely why the shooter thought it would be a good idea to load up a round into a rifle and fire that round through Charlie Kirk's neck in general, but in particular while he was talking in front of a large audience of people. What caused someone to do such a thing? That's what I would like to know. Look at this silly fella from Nigeria, you are unbelievable, bro. Shame on you. Do you know what bro means? It means brother. I'm not your brother if you're talking to me. And I'll give you one chance to come on live. I've already dropped the link, and you can come on and express yourself. I am very entertained by Nigerians in particular. They always seem to crack me up.
At approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th, in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family.
Yeah, bro, that's not the interesting part, though. Like, we don't need to hear how you connected the dots. Shout out to Brad. He writes, for the work, the blacks need you, but the majority will rebuke you. Indeed, and we shall allow a sword to drink their blood.
Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. The family member also—
No lies detected. No lies detected, as the internet people say. As the internet people say. I acknowledge Ernest, very consistent. Also, shout out to World Gone Mad. And the world has seemingly gone mad. I think really it's just, unfortunately, our president, Donald Trump, who was the best option between the two snakes running. I mean, surely I'd rather a male take us straight to hell than a female. Anyways, JB writes, the killer wrote up, write down, down, down. This is the MK finisher move, Mortal Kombat finisher move. Heard it here first. Not one word from the news because they don't know. Hashtag brutal. Jamal came in supporting the work. May also acknowledge Cage supporting as well. I appreciate you. And for my silly black white supremacists, there's a couple in America. Most of them are in Africa because the colonization had just sunk deep into those Africans. Boy, oh boy. And if there are any like real white supremacists who are actually white, you're more than welcome to come on. That wouldn't include Nick Fuentes because he's Mexican. But if we have anyone else, I'll let you guys come into and, you know, speak your piece. You know, DEI today, DEI. Carrying on.
also confirmed Robinson had a gray Dodge Challenger.
Not the Dodge Challenger. Isn't that the car of the blacks?
The roommate of Robinson.
Wait, did he say Dodge Challenger? Maybe this fella was just light skinned. I think that's the car that the blacks like.
Interviewed that roommate who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos.
That's when I would have said, hold on 1 second. You'd like me to show you the messages, would you? Well, I hear that there's $100,000 reward for any information. What percentage of that pot am I getting to show you these messages? You hear me? I'd have did these boys like one of them scrippers. I'm like, listen, I ain't moving unless you talking money. I ain't moving. That's just me, though. That's just me.
Of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device.
You know, a lot of this stuff is irrelevant. I don't need to know these silly details. What we really need to know is what were his beliefs. And secondly, how was he radicalized? And thirdly, how was he trained? Because he was clearly very highly trained, not only in terms of his ability to execute on that kind of a kill shot, but also to be able to plan it out and escape the situation, to get that kind of hardware into the venue, and then also to be able to exit the venue fairly effectively. All of those things are rather impressive, and it would be hard to believe that he's just a random person. I don't think there's much random about him or the situation itself.
The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact.
Okay, so they're talking about some of the details in terms of executing this. I think it's fairly foolish on the part of law enforcement. It just allows copycats to say, oh, okay, this is a good methodology. Let me write this down. Apparently this works. Shout out to Charlie. Came in by Venmo. I appreciate you. May I also acknowledge via, do we have anyone via Super Chat? Let us see. Let us see. Shout out to Dre Slay, who just became a new member. I also find it comical. Do you guys not find it comical that always in the replay we see, or excuse me, in the comments, we see so many white supremacists of every color. And during the live session, they're always terrified. They're always terrified, which is insane. Because like, if you really believe what Charlie Kirk is saying about the low IQ blacks, come on down. See what that low IQ do. Shout out to Goyar Glow writes, I saw a clip of Charlie saying blacks don't have the brain processing power to take seriously. In the context of being in positions of power, all the white supremacists who share his this rhetoric are terrified of I know. They don't really believe any of it. They know it's all silliness. Shout out to Mr. Buck. He writes, the white supremacists are quick to spew idiocy under your ex posts about Nerd Fuentes. That behavior doesn't seem supreme at all. Where are they now? Right. They're terrified. I'm the most terrifying black man on earth. Shout out to We Need a Reset TV writes, you're doing a wonderful job on how one should cover Charlie. Keep spreading your knowledge. A black man like me truly appreciates your intelligence. Thank you very much. I appreciate you as well. And shout out to all the good peoples of the earth for, I'm sure there are white people in the audience. There are Asians, Arabs in the audience, Palestinians, of course, who understand my perspective, which is balanced and honest.
Tyler also mentioned that he had changed outfits. I know there's been speculation as well as to the writing on those casings, those bullet casings, and I believe we have that as well. And I will share that with you now. So the area north of Campus Drive Road where the suspect crossed over, you saw some of the U-colored towel. The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98 mountings head.
This guy's an idiot. Low IQ people are really good at giving you irrelevant details. And also something so fascinating as an assassination, he's managed to make this boring, which in fact is a phenomenal accomplishment. I mean, it's almost hard to be boring while describing something so exciting.
Mark. Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" exclamation point, "Catch!" exclamation point, up arrow symbol, right arrow, and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow."
Well, here's the wild part. Apparently, bro had a sense of humor about the whole thing. It appears that the shooter did feel a bit of lightness with this whole affair. Now, me personally, I felt like I would have been a bit more serious. You know, that's just me. I think I would have been, serious and focused about this. But maybe he's LGBTQ, because if you're LGBTQ, going to jail is like the greatest thing on earth when you really think about it. If you're heterosexual, going to jail is quite a bit of punishment, not only because you're locked in a cage with psychopaths, but there are no women. And what's worse than there's no women, there's a lot of dudes around named Tamboozy, the booty bandit. So that being the case, it's hell on earth. But if you're LGBTQ, you're like, what? You're going to pay my room and board and put me around a bunch of beefcakes? Sign me up. So I'm assuming maybe that was the case.
Bella Chow, chow, chow. And a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO."
You read it. You read it. He's out the closet. He is out the closet. Hey, check this out. If he's writing things like that, it would appear he knew at some point he'd be caught. And also the other thing is the fella is an efficient killer. I mean, really, we need to hire him. We don't need to jail him. We need to hire him. We need this ball over there in Ukraine. He might bring this war to a speedy conclusion. But the curious thing is that he had thought this out at a level of calmness, rationality, a couple teaspoons of humor. and he had leftover bullets. So bro was ready in case he had to reload that thing. Yeah. He was ready in case, but apparently the ball's aim is on point. I mean, this man was in sniper school. I want to hear them talk about his background. You may notice that that's going to be missing, perhaps, his background, his true beliefs. And, you know, one of the challenges for law enforcement is that you can't say, oh, well, people who say things like this on social media are dangerous. They're going to end up on a roof somewhere with the click clack trying to blow that thing at somebody's neck. No, people say all kinds of wild things. So that's not the actual telltale sign that someone is going to take somebody out. And law enforcement is going to have to figure out how to better sort through these things and take preventative measures. My guess, if maybe they reallocated some of their time, remove domestic violence as a criminal offense, just remove it completely. And maybe stop focusing so much time on revenue collection by giving tickets, parking tickets to the public. And then you can reallocate that time toward meaningful investigation. And when you find out that mental illness is usually at the root of a lot of these things, then we can create some real solutions. And I would also like to state, you can't cure mental illness. So you kind of got to, you can't cure mental illness. I'm sorry. Just not possible. I'm sorry. Even the people who are casually nutty, like a lot of the broads you and I have to live among. You ever notice that the broad has been in therapy for 30 years, but she's only like 32. She's like, you're 32, but you've been in therapy for 30 years. That's extraordinary. Anyways, no wonder taxes are so high. I got to pay this chick's head shrinker bill. John writes, it's me again. I come in peace. I watched a debate yesterday where a group of blacks defended a racist. Never thought I'd see that. They argued the blacks should care since he wasn't talking about all black people. I don't agree, but curious to hear you break it down. Well, it's not about was he talking about all black people. The fact of the matter is that he's not speaking to the failings of the blacks in America for the purpose of improving the blacks, but rather for the purpose of creating the conditions that you can abuse and do away with the blacks. Because if he was someone, say like Marquette Devon Burton, who actually cares, he might speak critically of the blacks, which I do, speak critically of black males. I would love for them to not have their booty out. And to all of my violent white supremacists, if you all would like to take anyone out, get those guys first, please. And then you have the overweight black females, which is about 80% of them. And they're completely shameless people. This is due to the black male's weakness and lack of leadership. If someone would like to force them onto a treadmill, I'd be thankful for that. So while I'm critical, I also take great effort to help. For example, to my wildebeest overweight black women and all persons who would like to improve themselves, I have an ab challenge started today. 3 variations of ab exercises. You can do it in the bed, but you have to do it first thing when you wake up, before you eat, before you drink, before you get on the cell phone. Also, you can check my background. I've been a teacher in Baltimore, Maryland, in Baltimore City, which is really a terrible place to be for the most part. I've done it in Philadelphia, and I've run a nonprofit that helped black families in Baltimore. I've raised many millions. I've been a philanthropist and donated significant amounts of money to education around the world. I've been awarded for such. You can pretty much see through my entire track record that I've been about helping the populations I criticize. I criticize them because I want better for them. I criticize them out of sadness, disappointment, and pain. I don't criticize them to set them up to be abused. And that's the difference. If you were to say, hey, Charlie Kirk, who's Charlie Kirk? The guy who smiles and his lip is way up here and you can see like 30 yards of gums. That guy, the guy who needs to cut his hair off because he has the meanest receder I've ever seen. That guy. So if you're like, hey, Charlie Kirk, what have you done for the black people that you seem to be so concerned with? Then his answer would be nothing. I've just insulted them and criticized them and created the conditions under which they'll be abused. And that's very common. So that's how you that's how you know that these people are the same devils that enslaved black people in the past, colonized black people in the past, abused black children, took advantage of black females, whether they were adults or otherwise. So any black person who supports them is both low IQ and even lower self-esteem. And those are the enemies of all good people. And whoever would get to them first and do what God would have them do does a good thing. Thank you for that question.
We are indebted to law enforcement across the state who's worked seamlessly together, local law enforcement, state law enforcement, and our federal partners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Out of time to bring us family members of Tyler Robinson who did the right thing in this case and were able to bring him in.
They sold that boy down the river. They sold him down the river. Now let's check out what Fox News has to say, because Fox News is a fake conservative outlet because they allow homosexuals and women to be in leadership positions and to show an example to the youth. So how in the hell, you tell me now, how in the hell do you follow Jesus Christ, but you let homosexuals call themselves conservatives? What is you conserving? You conserving the nuclear family? I think not. I think not. What kind of conservative are you? When you're Donald Trump, supposed Christian, you've been married 3 times. What kind of conservative are you when you're Donald Trump and you put Scott Bessent into your administration and you know darn well he takes it up the backside? What kind of conservative are you? What kind of conservative are you when you put that bleach blonde woman into a position of power and leadership over men? That's not what it says in the Bible. That's not what Jesus would do when they say, what would Jesus do? God damn it, that ain't it. That ain't it. Okay? Okay. Boy, somebody bring me my damn sombrero Texas cowboy hat and bring me a steed. Get on the steed, ride me a steed. Look at this goofball rascal right here. I wish somebody would slap him, snatch his hat off his head, launch it into the audience, and tell him, bro, wear your uniform. Is this dumb hat a part of your uniform? Good Lord.
For everybody.
Let me start this from the beginning. Goofy rascal. This the kind of dude always wanted to be the police. You know, when you're a little kid and you're cute, you know, like first grade teacher, mine was a racist. She actually literally hated black people. It was a terrible experience. I almost may not have learned to read had I not had an exceptional IQ. Anti-black racism, which is say white supremacy, is a real thing. There's a lot of these people are actually evil. It's really sick and sad. You can read about it in my book, The Black Box, which you can get on Amazon. And it's a great story. It took me 10 years to write. It's actually a real book. A lot of people claim they wrote a book. These people wrote pamphlets. This is a real book. I took 10 years to write it for you, not for me. And I was already well off when I wrote it. It wasn't for money, because books, they don't make you money if you have money. I was in the tech business, which is a great profit margin business. Anyways, this rascal right here, you know, when you're a kid in first grade and your teacher's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they're going each kid, and you got the dumb kids. They say like things everybody heard of, like, I want to be an astronaut. And I'm just like, you're slobbering over yourself all the time. Like, you're for sure not going to be an astronaut. Then the little girl's like, I want to be a doctor. I'm like, maybe if you were Chinese, but you're not going to be a doctor. Then you got the next kid like, I want to be president. I'm like, you have a booger in your nose right now, but that's not a unique thing. You always have a booger in your nose. You're not going to be president of anything. You're a weirdo. Might be president of like an internet fan club of an OF account, but you ain't going to be president. Then it comes to the next kid, like Chung Lee. They're like, what do you want to be? And Chung Lee's like, I would like to be an ophthalmologist. I'm like, damn, how do you know that word? Damn, y'all be smart as hell. Amazing. Amazing. Then you come to the next kid, like, what do you want to be? Like, I want to be in the NBA. That's the black kid. Then you come to the next kid, which was me. They're like, what do you want to be? And I'm like, I just want to be rich. However that got to go, sign me up for a lot of money. The word I was really looking for was luminary, but I didn't know that word at the time. But anyways, then you come on to the next kid, and it's this dumb rascal right here. They're like, what do you want to be? Like, I want to be a police officer. And they're like, why do you talk like you have a beer belly and like 3 kids and you're a hillbilly, but you're just really a 6-year-old child in school? Like, why are you talking like that? I want to be a police officer. But why? I want to be a police officer. Your main job as a police officer, mostly, let's be honest, is stopping people from doing what they want to do. That's crazy. Who wanted to do that when they were a kid? That's this guy right here. This guy. Anyways, carrying on. He got the perfect goddamn mustache for this job, doesn't he?
I would just like to take a few minutes.
Didn't we all expect
as-
him to have more bass in his voice, or is that just me? I expected him like, all right, just my hat. Okay, don't mind me. I got a little bit of chew in my mouth. We got him. All right. Yeah, where's the main camera at? Okay, we got him. And I'm the sheriff. Okay. Let me tell you how we got him. I expected bro to have some bass in his voice, to be talking like Macho Man Randy Savage. But for some strange reason, this man has no bass in his voice. He might be Scott Besson's partner. You hear me? He might be his partner. Skittle guzzling little fella here.
The sheriff to express my gratitude for everybody who has played a part in this investigation.
Okay, bro.
As you know, it's been a vast.
Yeah, we don't need to hear all that.
People standing up here.
Yeah, okay, just get to it.
It has been the local.
Why are you breathing so hard on the mic?
Across have
This man is
stepped
in
up.
bad health.
And have come
Bro got 3 ulcers.
Our Utah County Attorney's investigation. I would.
Why is he breathing in so
team
deep?
Here are
They need to turn down the mic.
Justice. Thank the public.
When is he going to say something relevant?
To prayers, behalf
Bro,
of the law enforcement community. To thank.
This is the longest intro on earth. Wait. This guy gave no information. What is he, like a warm? Like bro just came on to warm up the audience or something? He's like, I'm almost done here, so bring on the Indian. Bring on the Indian. We value diversity here. We love Indians. Yes, we do. Bring on the Indian. Then as soon as the Indian guy leaves, and just all the white guys by themselves, they look around at each other like, did you smell him? Did you smell? I smelled him. Did you smell? I wasn't going to say nothing. I mean, Trump hired him. I wouldn't have hired him myself. I personally, I don't like nothing blacker than basically blacker than white. Anything that's blacker than white, it ain't right. You know, I wouldn't have hired him. No Mexicans, no whites. I mean, no, we love the whites. No blacks, no Mexicans, no Chinese, no Indians, no Asian, no Arab, definitely not the Muslims. I wouldn't have hired them, but that's just me. I guess Trump did it. You got to have some of these people in there, right, just to make it look right. You can't just have all white folk no more. It's like the white man can't do nothing no more. White man can't do a damn thing anymore. I mean, these people are funny to me. You see, they're in the belly of the beast in terms of human wickedness. They're not among normal, happy, healthy white people. They're among white supremacists. And that's why we've seen a resurgence of white supremacy and anti-black violence. And Kash Patel is yet another casualty, though he knows not. He thinks that he can maybe marry a white woman and he's a part of the club. No, bro, she got an uncle that hates your guts, like for sure. You hear me? But go ahead, Kash.
I also want to give a special thanks to the attorney.
No, we heard enough thanks, bro. We heard
up
enough
here.
Just give us some
violence
damn
happening
information.
all across our country.
Wait, why did they have his brown ass go up there for 10 seconds? What was the value of that? Listen, they got to show that man more respect than that.
And violence is tragic everywhere.
Oh,
political tenant in violence, in problems, including as I have ever been.
Okay.
So,
this ball's about a Norwood 10. Does it even go that far? He's a Norwood 10. Bro, like, let me give a message to the whites. Okay. No, matter of fact, to everybody that's not black. Actually, let me revise that. To everyone who's not dark skinned. This is my message. No, you know what? This is my message to everybody. Everyone's getting this one right now. Everybody gonna get this word. Check this out. If you are bald, I need you to be all the way bald. I don't need to see that stubble on the side of your head, boy. I don't need to see them little hairs on the side of your head. Who you think you are, George Jefferson, Carl Winslow? Man, take out some time and cut that off. Have some decency. Have you no decency, no shame? It's like, Brody, you look like a damn fool. Just take a razor, cut it off on the side. Man, you're going on TV. Have no kind of sense of cleanliness, these people. I hate these kind of bald guys. These guys give us a bad name.
Young people love Charlie. And
this
young people
give
your enemies being able to have reasonable.
What kind of?
There is one.
Is this not? What is this supposed to be? A damn inspirational rally? I thought they were going to give us some information.
Person responsible.
Shut up, dude. Bro think he running for president right now. This is insanity.
We get to make decisions.
Oh,
I still believe
this was the dumbest clip I've ever seen. I never hit the dislike button because it's just not my personality, but I'm definitely hitting the dislike button. This was rubbish. This was utter rubbish. No riots, no looting, no burning cars. It's different on the right side. Oh, wow. That's great, buddy. That's so good. You're an idiot. You are an idiot. Carrying on. The stupidity. Goodness. You know, I like the whites, the intelligent whites. Like, God damn, IQ has taken a nosedive. People are just sitting around giving thanks and like giving long, unnecessary speeches. Anyways, let's carry on.
November 10, 2025.
Says this is the assassination explained. I'm interested.
Charlie Kirk was assassinated. This is the possible position where the assassin had a clear line of sight from a building located about 430 feet away. The assassin squeezed the trigger and a single bullet traveled this distance and struck Charlie Kirk right in the neck. Detail all in the video ahead. Charlie Kirk was tragically assassinated at Utah Valley University in
Tragically, that's an opinion.
Orem, Utah on September 10, 2025. Publicized tour titled the American Comeback Tour. This event was designed as a
The irony, because he will not be coming back from this one.
lively debate platform called Prove Me Wrong, where
Prove me wrong. Okay.
Kirk invited students to challenge his political and cultural views. But first, let's orient ourselves with a bird's eye view of the scene and the positions of everyone involved. Utah Valley University's campus is a mix of open courtyards and multi-story academic buildings.
Very nice. Well,
At the heart of the event was the Losey Center building, a multi-story structure adjacent to the main courtyard where Kirk's event took place. Charlie Kirk,
like low key, I'm just like, how did the ball get access to the top of the building? I mean, he was really, you know, he was focused. You know, he did his thing. And you would think there'd be a ton of cameras at a place like this, but apparently not. May I acknowledge via PayPal. Shout out to Jasper. He writes, Quet, a fellow black man recently asked for my thoughts on Charlie Kirk's demise. I told him I was indifferent. Fair enough. I explained I would neither cheer nor mourn his demise. He said a lot of disparaging things about black people. In fact, he did. And frequently focused on black violence. The irony. Well, this is white on white violence and none of my damn business, piece of saints. Sir, it is none of my business either. I am just here as a humble spiritual teacher and journalist reporting on the news. That's all I'm here doing. I also acknowledge Frank. He writes, reminder to post live notification. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. He writes, his family is thoroughly snitching on him. They don't even need the NSA to spy on them. This, bro, I'm trying to tell you, man. But the destruction of families is a core feature of Western government. And that is why we have such low birth rates. And the ironic thing is that they act like they care. By they, I mean the government. What is your purpose, sir?
You wanted to debate, does Charlie Kirk's life matter? I can debate that.
I don't know that the topic was, does his life matter? But I'm happy to engage the conversation. Sure, why not? Are you able to light yourself a little bit better? Just, you know, so that you can be seen?
Sorry.
Are you backlit?
I'm in my apartment. I mean, I'm
okay.
Like, I don't have anything. I'm not like a pro or anything like that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So, what was your position again? Sorry.
I have no position. I've invited you on to provide your position, and we can.
No, I just thought I heard you say that, like, does his life matter or not? And I think the better question is, did his actions deserve death?
Did his actions deserve death? Okay, we can have that discussion.
I mean, you can argue. Some people can argue yes. Some people argue no.
Okay.
I just want to know what you think.
So, are you a Charlie Kirk supporter?
No, I'm absolutely against everything he says. And
you're against everything he says. So, what is your purpose here then?
Because the thing is we take death a bit too lightly, especially I think your country.
What's my country?
U.S.
What's your country?
I'm Egyptian Canadian.
So you're an Egyptian by blood and you're Canadian by citizenship?
Yes.
Okay.
I've lived in Canada for a long time. In the UAE right now.
Okay.
So I've been around. yeah, we're taking death too lightly, and I just don't see that his actions deserve death.
Curious. So when you say we, that's the challenging part because we'd have to deconstruct we. For example, in the United States, which is much bigger than Canada, we know that there's extraordinary levels of diversity. Even among the majority, the white majority, which is 60%, you have a significant amount of diversity, which is why a white person gunned him down, right? Because all whites don't agree. So then beyond that, you have ethnic diversity, racial diversity, religious diversity, and more. So I don't think that the we has meaning because there's so much diversity. That's number one. Number two, when you say we take death lightly, well, for sure, especially if you're talking about the we as the majority in the United States. I mean, Donald Trump, the week before Charlie Kirk died, he murdered 11 people in a boat. And there was no concern whatsoever for those people in that boat from Venezuela that Donald Trump murdered without any trial, without identifying them. We don't know if those people were held hostage, some of them. We don't know if they were going to Cuba. We don't know where they were on their way to. We haven't confirmed that they had narcotics. We didn't put them through the criminal justice process. It was murder, and it was a violation of international law and human decency and any religious book that you would name. So I say that to say this. What is the point of arguing on behalf of one Charlie Kirk when he killed 11 people the week before? So he mourns for Charlie Kirk, but not for those other people. So I would posit to you that the monsters that run Western governments, the white supremacists, it's not that they don't value life. It's that they don't value the lives of people that are not within their collective. So if you are from the global South, then your life is less valuable. If you're not like them, then your life has no meaning. And this is the same thing with the Zionists.
That's true. Yeah.
Fantastic. Then we've solved the world's problems. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, but thanks for letting me on. That was
absolutely. It's a pleasure to meet. You wouldn't happen to be from Cairo, would you?
No, I'm from Alexandria, and I did want to respond to something that you said in an earlier video about Egyptians being horrible. I kind of wanted to address that for a moment.
Sure. And I just want to make the caveat that I was speaking of those in Cairo, and we're aware that different cities and towns have different cultures, especially big cities are always the worst. But go on. Like, I don't like New Yorkers either.
I mean, I don't totally disagree with you, especially with foreigners like tourists. They're especially horrible with tourists. They want to rip them off all, I mean, basically. And what you do is you find an Egyptian that walks around with you, and then you'll get everything like a quarter off from what you're paying, or half off, you know. But there is the majority are poor, and but when you're in a bit higher in the middle class, you'd see a much different type of Egyptian, basically.
No, I disagree wholeheartedly. In fact, I had this exact conversation yesterday with an Egyptian, and she provided the same 2 points. Oh, the Egyptians are poor in Cairo, and also, you know, if you have a local taking you around, these arguments are complete rubbish. I'm speaking to the souls of these people. Good people don't do bad things. That's full stop. There's no caveat needed. Furthermore, we have to understand that I filled up 4 passport books. I've been to countries that are much poorer than Egypt on paper and in reality. Sometimes the paper, which is say government statistics, don't line up with the reality of things. Like, for example, I personally find that Tanzania is better developed than Kenya. That's just my personal perspective from having been to both of them. But moreover, with regards to Egypt, the fact of the matter is those people in Cairo are soulless, and they're disgusting, and they need to be reformed. There is no excuse for lying constantly, engaging in trickery and stealing and bribes and dishonesty every moment they get the chance. I've been to countries much poorer. You can go to backwaters in Ethiopia where no one would ask you for a penny. You can go to Chad. You can go to Central African Republic, extremely poor place. You can go to Cote d'Ivoire. You can go to slums in Brazil, in the favelas. You will not find this level of behavior. And the fact of the matter, it is a direct representation of those people and that culture. And there is a unique problem within the Middle East. For example, I say that because you have some great places in the Middle East, like Saudi is wonderful, Oman, fantastic people. UAE's okay. Qatar, Doha is lovely. It's sad that they were bombed. Great places, affluent. People are very positive, welcoming, and they mind their own business. But you go to other countries that are lower income. Maybe you go to Algeria, you go to the Kingdom of Morocco, not terribly far, shouldn't be too different. Even in Libya, before they killed Muammar Gaddafi, you do not find the same behavior you find in Cairo. You're only two places in the world I've ever seen it. It's in Cairo and Amman, Jordan. Those two places, the people are soulless, and there is no explanation. There is only reform. I yield the floor.
What happened there, man? I mean, I lived in Egypt for a while. I don't see what you see. What happened to you there, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, it's not that you don't see what I see. It's maybe you didn't experience it. But the fact of the matter is, there's no reason to pick Egyptians out of the hat as though they're some particularly bad people. It's not like they're the Belgians who colonized Congo and used to cut off the limbs of children. And furthermore, my feedback that I'm giving you on Cairo is very consistent. You can type in Cairo horror story into YouTube and get an infinite number of reactions. I could tell you 10, 20 terrible stories about what I saw these people do in Cairo. One, you go to the police and you're at the pyramids, which is their big money grab, and you say, hey, where can I put this garbage? The police takes it, throws it on the ground. Yeah, throw it anywhere. It doesn't matter. No respect for the land, no respect for the history, no decency, no dignity. Then they try to steal and scam you when you're at the pyramids. Is it due to poverty? No, it's due to greed. I've been in places that are much more poor than that. So these are flimsy excuses which show that you have a lack of objectivity, and it's okay because human beings are petty and irrational, and I realize that, and we've been the same since time immemorial. That's why I always say that there are levels to things. So the real task is not to argue against people saying that Cairo and potentially Egyptians are soulless and need to be reformed. The real question is, well, what is the problem in the culture, and how do we get after fixing it instead of lying and making excuses? And I say this about all peoples. I say this about the Black Americans. I say this about the Africans. I say this about the Europeans. And I say this about those in Cairo as well, which is to say, let's deal with the truth and let's fix it.
It's just there's so much good that I've seen there. I mean, like I would hardly say I'm probably not 100% objective, but
you're 0% objective because you're talking to someone who has no incentive to down Egypt. I went there with high levels of optimism, extraordinarily excited to enjoy the society and culture and to travel widely, to spend money and potentially buy a flat there. And I was so disappointed. The same thing is true in Amman, Jordan, where I had high hopes. I have a great friend who's Jordanian, a very devout Sunni Muslim and an excellent businessman, highly educated. In fact, 3 friends who are Jordanian that fit that description. And still, I noticed that the people in Amman were extraordinarily low quality, both the male and the female. And there's no reason to make it up. It's just the reality of the matter. So you can speak to your experience, but it's largely irrelevant.
No, I really don't think you're making it up. It's just maybe your sample size is a bit too small. You know.
Or maybe your sample size is too small.
Well, I've lived in Egypt for years. I don't know if you lived
maybe your sample size is too small.
You still think if I lived there years?
Yes, maybe your sample size is too small.
Of the country.
Because when you're referring to sample size, you're suggesting that someone would have had to take out a formal study, which neither of us did. So certainly both of us would have a sample size that would be too small. Furthermore, my perspective would be more valid than your perspective because you'd be engaging with people who have some level of familiarity with you, family, friends, or they know that you're Egyptian, which means that they think that they will be held accountable if they were to do you wrong. We can measure someone and their goodness by the way they engage with strangers, people who cannot hold them accountable, or people who may be victim or may be vulnerable to them. That is a measure of someone. The Egyptians maybe were treating you well because they know that you're fluent in Arabic and you can, engage the courts and the laws, or you have friends. So just the fact that you would sit here as a man who's advanced in age and still not be willing to deal with the truth, it shows precisely why human beings stagnate, because they hate the truth. They want to look good in public no matter what, even if it's at the expense of progress.
Yeah. So when I mean sample size, I don't mean the number of people and
that's what sample size means, actually.
Yes, I know what it means, sir. But what I mean by sample size is the number of experiences that you had in Egypt. You deduced from a small number of experiences, I'm assuming, that's just the way it is. And I'm telling you, I lived there for years, and I know there's a lot of horrible stuff, especially stealing, like conning people out of their money, stuff like that. I agree with you. And it's filthy a lot of places. It's getting much better. But there's also so much good there. To just think that, oh no, that's it. Egypt is a horrible place. Egyptians are horrible people. I think your sample size of what you've experienced there is a bit.
Okay, so let's erase me. Okay, Egypt, the worst country I ever visited. My warning to future travelers. I could find thousands of these. Joe Rogan and Sonny, nightmare traveling in Egypt. Damn, Joe Rogan got you guys too. Egypt tour, not what we expected.
I wonder if I put that search in any country, how many results I'll get.
Sure. Okay. Let's do this. So I put Cairo. I actually didn't put Egypt. I put Cairo, specific city. So I'll just take another specific city. I'll put Addis Ababa.
Sure.
Addis Ababa, bad experience. My bad experience in Addis Ababa. Does it say the worst country? No. They warned me not to visit this dangerous site of Addis Ababa. And then in parentheses, it says friendly people. So you can tell that there's clearly not the same nature of reaction. You're in denial, sir. You're in denial, sir.
I don't think I am, but
I mean, you're in denial. I typed in a country that's poorer than Egypt, and I typed in the same query with the exact same term structure, and it showed you that you don't find the same level of negative reviews. You're in denial, sir.
I guess okay. I mean, I have nothing to respond to that. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
I have family, I have friends.
Exactly.
They're not horrible people. They're just
that's your challenge. They might be horrible people. You're the kind of guy who would have a brother or a cousin who abuses children, and you want to make excuses for him because he's your cousin.
No, I wouldn't. Believe me.
No, that's your personality, actually.
No, it's not. Believe me. If someone's abusing someone, they're a horrible person. I have never known a person in my life that abuses anyone, just so you know. And if I did, that would be a horrible person.
Got you. Yeah, it's easy to say that, but I don't think that you actually believe that, because do you realize that it's a very common perception among well-traveled people that Egypt is a place that is terrible to visit? You're not aware of that? You never heard that?
No, well, when I first went to Egypt, I was relatively older, I would say. And I myself realized how horrible some aspects of Egypt are, but I still wouldn't paint all Egyptians as horrible, or even the majority of Egyptians. Like when you would see like if someone, for example, gets hurt in Egypt or something, well, people are gonna go and help them. People are gonna. It's not like people aren't horrible. Is just what I'm saying.
No, I would say Egyptians were mostly either like not good people or indifferent. I can't think of one single memory where I was like, damn, that's a good person. I didn't have one single memory like that. I was there for about 15 days, and I didn't encounter that person where I was like, that's a good person.
But that's
which is extraordinary. It really is, because I've traveled way more than anybody you personally know. I promise you I have. The data's there. So it's not like I showed up like, oh, like I'm new to this traveling thing. I'm new to different countries. I'm new to the Deen of Islam. I'm new to Arabs. I'm new to the Maghreb countries. I'm new to North Africa. No, I came in there. I'm familiar with Arabic. I'm familiar with your place in the world. I'm familiar with your society. I know your history. I'm familiar with all of these things that should make it fairly easy for me to navigate. It's just that the people were rotten. And it's okay to admit they're rotten. And I'll tell you, like, for example, in the Bible, they have a place called Sodom and Gomorrah. Do you know what it was called in the Quran?
Sodom and Gomorrah? No, I don't remember.
That's okay. We'll just go with Sodom and Gomorrah then.
Yeah.
It was a place where people are rotten. For example, if we're talking about my people, the foundational Black American, I speak of Atlanta as a hellhole. Atlanta has the most disgusting Black people you will ever meet in your life. Vile. Most of the women, I mean like 95%, are completely disgusting animals. Most of the males are weak and effeminate and useless human beings. If we were to have to wipe out Atlanta, I'd be like, it got to happen. It got to happen. Now, I'll tell you, here's the thing. Do I have friends in Atlanta? Yes, I do. Do I have business associates in Atlanta? Yes, I do. Do I have saints in Atlanta? Do I have good men that I know in Atlanta? Absolutely. But if someone says, what's Atlanta like? I'd say Atlanta is a filthy place with people who are ones you don't want to be around. And that's the truth. That's why I'd say that. I wouldn't say, oh, I have good friends in Atlanta. I have family in Atlanta. No, which I do also. I have some cousins in Atlanta. But I would tell the truth, which is speaking to what is average. There's no way I could navigate your country for 15 days and not get a sense of what is average. And what is average? The average is very low, as it is in Amman, Jordan.
I honestly have no other comments.
I understand. But the good news here is that you at least got an example of what honesty is. You have an example of what radical honesty is. And most people know nothing of honesty. They go through their day-to-day life lying to others or lying to themselves. In your case, you're lying to yourself, and that's okay. You at least got to hear what it sounds like when a man is completely objectively honest. I can be honest about the black folks, honest about the white folks, honest about the Arabs, honest about the Asians. We can say what it is straight down the middle. Go ahead.
I tell you, if a person is lying to themselves, that isn't dishonesty, because maybe it's foolish, but it's not dishonest, because I don't think you lie to yourself on purpose. You lie to yourself because you believe in something and you're tricking yourself. You know, it's more foolishness than. And I would be okay being called a fool, but I would not be okay to be called dishonest.
Well, here's the important thing.
Yeah.
Whether you're aware or you're ignorant, the outcome of what you do still amounts to evil. And it is upon that outcome that we must all be judged by your deeds. And even in the courts in the United States, they say ignorance of the law is no excuse, which is to say because you're unaware of the law doesn't mean that you get to escape consequence.
Maybe you should study Islam a bit more, because
maybe you would take Islam to Egypt and teach them.
Could I finish my statement, please? My sentence, please? Because intentionality is huge in Islam. Like
Nia, quote me the surah where they reference Nia.
Nia?
Yeah, that's what you're speaking of, right?
I can't get it on the top of my head, man. But like I know.
Whoa! Hold on one second. So you're telling me that you're Egyptian, which is an Arab country, and you would have been born and raised on Arabic, and the number one thing in the Deen of Islam is that you would memorize Quran, and you're here lecturing me about Quran, but you don't know Quran.
No, but just because I can't remember it and my English is better.
No, but you should be able to remember it, and I'll tell you why. What year did you revert to Islam?
What year did I revert? No,
you were born a Muslim, right?
I was born a Muslim. Yes.
Yeah, you were born a Muslim. You were born in Islam. What is your age?
I'm 48.
48. So you've had half a century. So in half a century, you have not memorized the book. What is it? Is it 109? Is it 100? 1 second. Is it 109 surahs? Is it 111 surahs? Is it 113, 118? How many surahs is it?
114.
114. Now, 1 second. It's a short book, is my point.
No, it's
right?
not a long book. Yes, I agree.
Alhamdulillah, it's a short book. So you're telling me, hold on 1 second. You're telling me that in half a century, in your mother tongue, the religion of your people and your culture, a short book, you couldn't memorize it, yet you would sit here and try to lecture me on it. Lecture yourself. Lecture yourself. You should be ashamed. That's so arrogant to try to lecture on a religion that you don't know.
It just didn't come to my head right at the moment.
Okay.
And what does that mean? What does that mean?
So hold on. You just pulled it up on the computer? Hold on. You just pulled it up on the computer?
No, I didn't. Look,
wow.
I'm a very honest
You should be ashamed of yourself because you're not being honest. You try to speak based on memory, but what you know, and every sheikh would say it, every mufti would say it, is that in Islam, you speak based on what it says in the Quran. You would say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, and you will give the Arabic, and then you can say, and that means in English, and you don't need to interpret it. It's clear.
Look, okay.
You did not know. You were speaking based on your feelings, because if you were speaking based on the surah or an ayat, you could have given the ayat. I rest my case.
I just gave it to you, and I didn't look it up, and I guarantee you 100%.
You do not know the Deen of Islam because you do not care. You're 50 years old, raised on Arabic, Egyptian by blood, and you don't know. Do not come to teach me. Teach yourself first. That's
Okay.
what I tell you guys with your arrogance. That's why I never give dawah, because mostly dawah needs to be given to those who already claim to be Muslim, because you are strayed from the straight path.
Okay, great. Regardless of what you feel about
You've
me,
strayed from the straight path. You need to
Yes,
humble
sir.
yourself. Humble
Do you
yourself
yield?
right now.
do you
Humble
yield?
yourself.
Okay, I'm humble. Do you yield?
Thank you. Humble you're done. What do you have to say? You
I
try
have a
to
lot
tell
to
someone
say.
what you try to
I
tell
will
someone
tell
about
you.
Islam, but you don't know.
I
You
will
don't
tell
know.
you
I don't
right
want to
now.
hear what Google Scholar says.
I didn't open Google. I
I
guarantee you.
don't
that.
want to hear what Google Scholar says.
Wallahi, I didn't open Google, man. And you know that when a
Listen.
Muslim, wallahi, okay?
Listen.
But anyway, can I say
Listen,
something?
if you know, you could have said, Marquette, you violated this or that, or this is important. Well, how do I know? If you look at this surah and this ayah and it reads, blah, 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 but you don't know. So why are you talking about it?
Regardless of all of what you just said, innal a'malu binniyat, deeds are through intentions, is in our religion. And
You don't know the religion.
Dude, like I don't know anything about religion. Do I have to know 100% or
No, but you need to know
0%?
enough. You're
Those
in
only
front of
two
thousands.
options,
Listen,
bro.
listen,
Bro,
Ya Allah. Ya Allah. You are in front of thousands of people. You do not come.
Go
Listen,
ahead. You
no.
interrupt me a lot, and I'm gonna interrupt you.
Listen, you
want
don't
to
come in
disconnect
front
me?
of
Go ahead.
thousands of
Hey,
people.
this is nice clickbait,
You don't
bro.
come in front of
Keep
thousands
going.
of people and try to teach the Deen of Islam.
Either I know 100%.
Calm
or I know
down. Why
0%.
are you so angry? This guy.
Dude,
You know
this
the
is
Prophet
just-
Muhammad, he says, do not
I'm
get
a
angry.
math teacher, my friend.
Someone asked the Prophet Muhammad, they said, give me some advice. He said, don't get angry. They said, give me some more advice. He said, don't get angry. They said, yes, but beyond that, why are you angry? Why are you so angry?
Yeah.
Why are you so angry? You have to calm
I'm
down.
just, you interrupt me a lot.
You're
so
so angry.
because you always give people all this stuff about don't interrupt.
Why are you
You're
so
a lady,
angry? Calm
you're a
down,
scholar,
calm down,
you're
calm down.
interrupting, and
Calm
you're
down.
doing this
Islam is a religion of peace. Islam is a religion of peace. Calm down. Now, what I'm telling you is not that you don't know anything about Islam.
Okay.
What I'm telling you is that, like most Muslims from where you are from, you grew up with Islam not as a deen, not as a religion, but as a culture. And because you learned Islam not from a sheikh, not from a mufti, but from your father or from your uncle, and they did not teach you, and you were not strict in Quran classes, you don't know the whole Quran. You don't know the deen very well. So you're going to piecemeal things together as an AI Muslim, as a chat GPT scholar. And we don't need to hear from Sheikh Google. We need to hear the Deen of Islam broken down by those who actually know. And that's precisely why I never give dawah. I never try to break down any religion, because I'm not a religious scholar and I don't purport to be the best example of the deen. And the deen is so beautiful. It should be represented by those who are the best of Muslims, not you who don't know the surahs in a short book that is in your native language. I'm
So
sorry.
That's it. No one's allowed to speak unless they're a scholar, basically.
You should not be here trying to teach Islam when you do not know the Quran. That's
I'm
correct.
not teaching you Islam. I'm teaching you one aspect of Islam that we had an argument.
You
about. I
should
said,
not try to teach Islam when you do
Why?
not know the
if I know
Quran.
something- if
You
I
have a
know-
religion that's based on one book and you don't even know the book. I think that's pretty
Listen,
ridiculous.
If I know something, like I know, for example, Qul huwa Allahu ahad. I can't go preach that to people, or I have to be a scholar to preach.
Don't
it to
preach
people?
it. Try to live it
Why
out and
not?
then study
Why
the
not should
study
I
the
tell
deen.
my
Study,
kafir
study.
friend- Why should I not tell my kafir friend Qul huwa Allahu
You
ahad?
are almost kufar yourself. That's my point. You're almost kufar.
We
Come
try,
on.
man. We try, man. You can't be perfect. We try. No one's gonna be perfect. And you ask God.
We're
to
not
forgive
asking
you.
for perfection. Just
But
real quick.
My question to you is this.
Mohammed, real quick. Tell me if this is reasonable. Tell me if this is reasonable.
That's my name, by the way.
I know your name is Mohammed. What do you mean? Like, why do you think I call you Mohammed?
Because I put MOH in the thing, man. Let's go. Carry on.
I know. So why are you acting like it's a surprise?
No,
You said, that's my name, by the way.
Other people didn't know.
Okay.
No.
Anyways,
Okay, go ahead.
so you have a religion that's based on one book that is a short book, but you have not taken out the time to master the book. That speaks so much to your character if you would consider yourself a Muslim. In as much as that is the case, I'm saying clean up your character before you start preaching the deen of Islam. Because more than what you say, people will observe who you are and what you do. And that will be their understanding of Islam. It is not what you say. For example, if I speak to you and I say that gluttony is the worst of sins, and you see that I'm gluttonous and I'm eating pork, what does it matter what I said? So I'm telling you, clean up yourself before you come on preaching.
There's
Simple.
nothing wrong with what you're saying, Mark, but
Clean up
it
yourself and
still-
learn the
it
Quran.
still doesn't mean that, like, I gave you the perfect example, right? If I know Qul huwa Allahu ahad, and I go tell my kafir friend, hey man, Qul huwa Allahu ahad, you should believe in Allah. There's that's cleansing myself. That's a way to cleanse myself. That's a way to be a better person, rather than just playing video games and smoking all the time, which I do, right? I try to cleanse myself. That's how you can cleanse yourself, by doing stuff like that, by telling people, no, man, you should believe in God. Even though I'm not perfect, you should still believe in God. And you can't call me a kafir just because I'm not a great Muslim.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you know
I'm
what
just
I mean?
saying that you are closer to that than you are to the religion. If you take half a century and you still don't know the
I like
Quran,
how
it's
you use that
pretty
judgment.
pathetic.
You must be angelic. Like,
Compared to you, I mean, yes, if we're being honest, yes, absolutely.
how
absolutely.
would you? I totally doubt that, man.
No, really. Let's
you
check it right now. Are you willing to be honest right now?
success-
Let's check on it. Let's check on it, Mohammed. Are you willing to be
I'll
honest
give
right
you
now?
things to prove you wrong right now if you want.
Are you willing to be honest?
Yeah.
Are you willing to be honest?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Have you ever drank alcohol in your life?
Yes.
Yes, you have. Okay,
Yes,
so
I
there's one strike for you. There's zero strike for me. I've never
Good.
tasted alcohol. Okay. Have you ever smoked cigarettes, hookah, or anything like that would be detrimental to your body?
Yes, I have.
Okay, that's one strike for you. That's zero strikes for me. I've never smoked cigarettes or alcohol or anything like that.
Sure.
You see where we're going with this? So,
Yeah, but I'm
so the
gonna
point
give
is
you-
that you
Can I
live in a
respond?
way. You live in a way that is backward, and you're trying to tell people how to walk forward. And all I'm saying to you is stop walking backwards while telling people how to walk forward. I just think it's reasonable. Like, I don't think that people should take health advice from people who are fat. And that's essentially what you are. You're a fat white woman telling black people how to be in good physical shape. I just think it's strange.
Okay, fat black woman. That's what we're gonna name it.
No, you're
You
the
know?
fat black woman. No, excuse me. I'm sorry. You're fat white white
You're
woman.
the fat black woman. Since
Yeah,
we're
yes.
named-
Yeah.
All right. So I can give you two things to show you how and I don't want to say I can't judge if I'm better than you, man. Only God you can judge that. But
No, I can judge. Actually, we don't need to leave it to Allah
Yeah,
subhanahu wa
because
ta'ala.
you're
I will
a
judge,
man. You can
but
judge 'cause
we're
you're a
not
man.
here giving any we're not here to give the tasfir or anything like that. I will give you a chance to make your closing statement, and we'll thank you for your time.
Yeah, it was a great conversation. I'll give my closing statement
Yes.
with this.
All right.
People such as yourself
Mhm.
measure success through
Damn, success.
worldly gains. Yes.
Wait, we haven't mentioned success in our whole conversation.
No, but success is a very important part of any conversation, because if I'm a bad Muslim, I'm being unsuccessful at being a Muslim. If I'm a good
Okay,
Muslim,
all
I'm
right.
being successful. It's it's a little bit deep, I know. I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So just to finish off my statement, you measure success through worldly, let's say, what's the word? Could you help me? Worldly acquisition or whatever. You understand where I'm going with that.
Well, I've never said that. You're referring to this conversation. Like, you have to remember that the people watching right now, they don't know anything else that you're referring to. So you have to ground what you're saying in this
Okay,
conversation.
You measure success by what you get in this world, money.
No, I measure success by enduring happiness. Like, you have consistent happiness.
No, you're always on a tangent of how you're the greatest because you make money and you are so famous and all this.
No, actually,
Like,
I
watched
don't
videos
say
for
that.
About 2 months
No,
now.
no, actually, you're lying. And you can
not lying.
see people and no, really, you're in fact lying, because
my
I
perspective.
often,
The
no,
difference
I
between
often,
lying and my
one second,
perspective.
one
Okay,
second,
Go ahead.
one second. I know you're lying because I've never once publicly stated my net worth. So
No,
you're
I
lying.
didn't say you said, but you always
So
talk
that's
about
number
how
one. And
you
let me
are,
give you
and-
number two. Let me give you number
Okay.
two. I've many times, countless times, in fact, I've said, I talk to you guys about money because that's what people ask me about. That's what you guys want to hear about. but I always work in the most important things in life. And it's your enduring happiness. It's having a big family, doing the right thing. I always say that. I always say that money is not the ultimate measure. I always say that. In fact, I have a whole course called Boss University. It's not about money. It's about self-development. It's about being the best of who you can be. The creed of the assassin, I say the creed of the assassin at the end of all of my videos. Do I mention money at all? I said, show the best of who you are.
I think
the evidence is not in your favor.
And agree with me, but that's what I think. And the other thing,
well, no, you can't do what you think. You have to speak based on the facts. I'll be honest with you. If I thought that success in life was about money, then I would say Donald Trump is successful. I'd say Charlie Kirk was successful. I'd say Adolf Hitler was successful. But doing wickedness it's a sign of an unsuccessful life, even if your wickedness leads to wealth. And furthermore, you can't speak to what you feel I say or what you think I'm talking about. Because to be honest with you, I've never stated my net worth one time ever. And if I thought that money was the truest measure, and if I really wanted to floss on you like you feel you're being flossed on, I'd tell you what my net worth was when I was 24 years old, or when I was 25 years old, or even when I was 16. I've never done that one time.
I'll make a YouTube video and I'll send it to you about all the times to prove.
Why would you make a YouTube video? Are you a YouTuber?
No, but I can make a YouTube video. It's not hard.
You're not a YouTuber. Well, what is your trade?
Do I have to be a YouTuber? I'm a math teacher. Do I have to be a YouTuber to make a YouTube video?
Well, I'm just wondering why would you want to take out? No, this is what I teach. This is what I teach.
Yeah.
So as a man, you should live your life based on purpose. And so I'm saying, if you're not a YouTuber, why waste your time making a YouTube video?
No,
so if you're a math teacher, if I were you, I'd be asking myself, well, why isn't it you're not trying to be the best math teacher? You're not trying to expand your practice and do something of meaning. Why would you take out your time as a good Muslim to try to tear down another man who's done nothing but give to other people?
I'm not trying to tear you down, man. And who am
no,
I?
you actually are trying to tear me down, but it's not working because my reputation is bulletproof because I have so many good deeds.
Man, who am I to tear you down, man?
You're nobody. That's why it's not working. That's why it's not working.
Well, I'm not
but
even trying.
But my question to you is, when you first came in, was what's your purpose here? And you didn't have a purpose here, but I still let you talk, because sometimes people's just need to express themselves because they're human beings, and sometimes we're very isolated. But the fact of the matter is that if I put up my good deeds against anyone, I feel very, very much so like I'm in a strong position, because so much of my life has been dedicated to helping others. And that's not lip service, it's documented. So don't speak to money. We could talk about that, but why don't you speak to the good things that I've done? Since you say you've watched me for 2 months, well, why don't you talk about those things? Why don't you talk about those things so people can emulate that? If you don't want people to emulate the Rolls Royce cars, the Maybachs, the antiques, the big houses, if you don't want that in the forefront, talk about the good deeds that I've done.
Well, I mean,
I yield the floor to you.
Like, what was the point of all this?
No, I yield the floor. What are the good deeds I've done so people can focus on that instead of the money?
Yes. So can I give do I have to just give the answer exactly like you want it? Or
No, I'm asking you about that right now. I'm asking you about that.
And I'm giving a little piece of introduction background to what I want to say.
You're saying you don't want to answer the question because you don't want to acknowledge anything good I've done. You want to refocus it on the fact that I have more money than you?
Okay, don't ever tell anyone not to interrupt you again.
That's
weird.
weird.
Be a hypocrite. That's
very strange.
You'd be a hypocrite. All right. The other thing I really
why so angry?
No, I'm not angry. I'm just like this, man. What I would really like also to give you is some advice, as I'm older than you. And the only advice I will give to you is try not to be so arrogant, because you're not gonna
listen. Your problem is that you don't feel good about yourself. I've seen many people like you many times. You don't feel good about yourself, so you have to tear people down. I just gave you a task and you didn't want to complete the task because you hate to acknowledge good things that other people have done. You hate to. You are quintessentially the definition of what a hater is. You're not a good person. You're a jealous-hearted person. You're a negative person. You're an unhappy person. And that's what you're exuding. You've not exuded any honesty, any kindness, any goodness. And I have an eerie feeling.
But I was honest.
And I know that you're a negative person because you destroyed the self. That's why I tell people I have a 3-sentence Bible, 3-sentence Quran, if you like. Be yourself, be good to yourself, be good to good people. Be yourself, number one. Number two, be good to yourself. The reason you're not good to yourself because you don't love yourself. And when you don't love yourself, you can never give out love to other people. And that's why you're fundamentally a hater. How do I know you don't love yourself? You poison yourself with alcohol. You poison yourself with cigarettes. You poison yourself with video games. And that's why you haven't excelled, because you hold yourself back because you waste your time as a man. And that's why you're sitting here and you're afraid to give another man his due respect, because you've never gotten your respect in life. And the reason you never got your respect, because you never went out like a man to earn it. And being that you didn't earn it, now you want to claim everyone should be equal because it benefits you to pull me down so I can be equal to you. But we're not equal. And that's not the real world.
No, we're not equal at all. And I can tell from watching you that you are, like, I would just say, you need to rethink.
No, don't tell me what I need to do. Tell yourself what you need to do to get a better life. I mean, you're sitting there in a dark room. We can barely see you. You're claiming that you're a math teacher, but you're talking about doing YouTube videos. You say that you're Muslim, but you drink alcohol and smoke cigarettes. You're living a contradiction. Don't give out advice. That's been my whole piece, is you need to learn. You're not the teacher. You're the student. You're the student.
I was 20 last time I drank alcohol. But anyway.
You are the student. You said you were born a Muslim. Why would you have drank alcohol at any point? You're the student.
We're young, man. Do we not?
No, I didn't do that when I was young. I didn't do that when I was young.
You, man. You got.
That's why I'm the teacher. That's why I'm the teacher. You're the student.
But I can't teach you anything. I can teach you.
No, because you are not living in reality. You're not living in reality here. We found that out earlier with the Egypt thing. You don't like reality. You don't like reality. You hate reality. You're an escapist. That's why people like you drink alcohol to escape reality. You play video games to escape reality. It's an alternate reality. That's what I'm telling you. And the reason people like you might feel like, Marquette, wow, you're so hard on him. The reason that I'm hard on people like you is because if I let you people continue, you're going to turn the world into something where we get to lie, we get to pretend, and everyone's going to suffer as a result. I'm sorry, my dear boy, but I'm not going to let you sit up here and say, oh, because I'm 50 years old, I'm giving advice. Hell nah. You might have lived 50 years as a degenerate. You've lived 50 years, and at your old age, you still don't have love in your heart. I tell you what, when I see men who are younger than me, the first thing I want to do, I want to encourage them. I want to tell them, hey, I'm older than you. I've walked your path. Trust me, everything's going to work out. You're on the right track. You're good. You're ambitious. You're strong. I encourage and motivate them because I'm not in competition with them. I'm advance of them. I don't feel in competition. I don't need to put them down. I know that the world out there is tough. It's difficult. And the difference between you and I can bring you thousands of men and women and children who can say, this man changed my life, not from YouTube, little buddy, but from on the ground. I know you can't do that because you have too much hatred in your heart. You're not a good person and you won't admit it, but I see through you and I won't lie. I'm not going to play nice and act like you're a good person. You're not a good person.
I don't need anyone to play nice, to be honest. No, I mean, thank you for having me. I think this was great. And if you want to know why I really came on here is because I think it was a good intellectual. Like I enjoyed the picking like my brain. Let's say maybe I'm lost for words for exactly what I want to say, but that's the reason really I came here, because I think you're a very smart guy. I also think I'm smart, and I do like having conversations with smart people. And I think I'll end it at there.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you really for having me.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it.
It's wild, man. The funny thing is people come on to the live stream and they'll tell me why they're here, but I already know why they're here. There are certain basic drivers in the human personality and psyche. I know why you're here. You don't have to tell me why you're here. And I can assure you, it's never because I like intellectual conversation. That's never the actual reason. Nope. It's never that. Because I'm sure if you want an intellectual conversation, maybe you know somebody smart. Maybe you enroll in a course. You don't go on a YouTube live session just because you like intellectual conversation. There's other driving factors. You want attention. You want engagement. You want to be recognized. You want a thrill. There's so many different reasons, but it's almost never the reason that the person states. Comedy. Anyways, carrying on. Now, the funny thing is that, and you'll notice this with females in particular, gentlemen, I want you guys to pay attention. If you're ever with a female who's not a good woman, one of her, or I should say two of her primary goals, number one is to like humble you, right? And the reason she has to humble you is because she wants to bring you down to her low level. And then the second thing she thinks she's going to do is she's going to try to correct you. This is demon energy right here. She's going to try to correct you, even if you're not wrong. The reason she has to correct you is so that she can be right. This is basics. So I always tell you guys, stay away from these wicked people because you can only give what you are. I say stay away from those who are broken, ugly. They're never happy. They're never pleasant people. You heard him bring up something that was not talked about one time during our discussion. You heard the fellow say, well, Marquette, you're always talking about success. I always? That's fascinating. During this conversation, I've not mentioned success one time. Did you guys notice that? He said, you're always talking about success. I didn't mention success one time in this conversation. So then he starts talking about something, claiming in other videos, I talked about success, which, mind you, is a fine thing to talk about. But what it lets you know is that he came on with an agenda. He planned on talking about that no matter what, even if it's unrelated. You see? And here's another thing you have to understand. It's the inversion of morals. So look at Shorty over here. And this is why females is the evil. To be fair, he's speaking his second language. No, he's not. He told you he's been living in Canada for decades. You're gone. You're gone. We don't allow women in here to try to influence the thoughts of men. You should sit back and try to learn something. That's a woman's position. Thank you very much for being here. Now you can be here in silence. Now, the point of the matter is that he wanted to engage that conversation, and he has an inversion of morals because he doesn't have success financially, materially. He has to say, oh, that's not the real success. The real success is spiritual. It's religious. Oh, okay, you're a religious man. Yeah, and okay, well, tell me in Arabic, quote the Quran, which surah, which ayat? Oh, well, I don't know. I don't remember the. Oh, well, that's your first language. You had 50 years to learn it, and it's a short book. You're not a real Muslim. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be nice about it because I personally know Black American Muslims, white Muslims, Chinese, Korean Muslims who learned the deen of Islam. It lit a fire under them. And within the space of 4 years, Quran memorized, perfect recitation because they were serious. Because they're actually Muslims. They've submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They took Shahada and they were serious. You maybe even never took Shahada. You're a jokester. Please stop it. Go sit down somewhere, little buddy. Go sit down somewhere. And then he wants to start talking about, I can give you advice because I'm 50. No, there's people who are 50 years old in prison right now. 50-year-old people who are homeless right now. 50-year-old people who are unproductive. You play video games at 50. I'd never take your advice. I'd do the opposite of what you say. You're a 50-year-old in a darkly lit room who's low income, coming on the internet to try to disparage younger men. Come on. That sounds bad. That sounds really bad. That's stupid. Please stop it. And I want you guys to know, they say respect your elders if your elders are respectable. Come on now. Pay attention to that. Respect your elders if your elders are respectable. But if your elder is a drinker and a smoker and a video gamer and he's an angry guy who's financially unsuccessful, me personally, F him. F him. F him. I'm good. I'm good. Y'all can respect him, but I'm good. That's why I always tell you guys, the big homie. Respect the big homie. You could tell the big homie is the big homie. Why? Because he has grace, kindness, elegance, charm, sophistication, experience, intelligence, and education. And it's all vetted and verified. It's different. Come on now. Yeah, I'm good, Brody. Respect yourself, my nil. I'm good. Anyways, back to our core topic. Oh, yeah, by the way, if we have any raccoons who would like to come on and debate if the blacks should care about Charlie Kirk, feel free to come on down. Come on down. How are you, young man? It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you. I was obviously watching. I saw your title saying "Should Blacks Care?" So I thought
Should the blacks care?
I thought I'd come on and say what I'm thinking. So
right.
fundamentally, obviously, I don't think it's good that anyone dies because of debating on what they believe in.
Do you mind if I throw in a couple questions as you go through?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so I just want to throw in a question now because we want to question the assumption so that we can build into your conclusion. So you stated that you don't think it's good that anyone dies.
Yeah, and especially in the way Charlie Kirk did. Like,
so is it the method of death that's bad, or is it just the fact that he died?
You could say the fact that he was assassinated, that someone else intentionally took his life for what he believed in. Or
so is that ever acceptable?
No, I don't think it's ever acceptable to.
Okay, so I'm just going to repeat back what you said just to make sure I understand.
Yeah.
So you're stating that it's never acceptable to kill someone for what they believe in.
Yes.
I'm going to say that one more time, just make sure I have it correctly.
Okay.
It's never acceptable to kill someone for what they believe in.
No, I don't think it's ever acceptable.
Okay. So here's a classic example that I think is very predictable. So you should know that I'm about to ask you this. I remember you very well. You came on before and I advised you to be prepared. So I trust that you're at least a touch more prepared than last time. And so you should be able to anticipate this question, which is, if you could take the life of Adolf Hitler before he committed atrocities based on what he believes in, would you do it?
No, I wouldn't take his life based on what he believes in. I absolutely wouldn't. I believe everyone has a right to free speech to say what they want to say, but I wouldn't take his life based on what he believes in. I'd try and debate him and try and change.
You try to debate him? You try to debate Hitler? He's a wild nigga, boy.
I would. I mean, I know how it sounds, but I absolutely would try and debate him. I don't think there's any instance where you should try and take someone's life, because that just leads to more violence. I think it's quite harmful, and I think that everyone should try and
So is violence always a bad thing?
No, it's not always a bad thing, but particularly when you're talking like disagreements on even ideologies, I don't think you should ever be violent towards someone who's being non-violent, who's like debating which Charlie Kirk was.
Okay. All right. So with regards to our Hitler example, you're saying that you would not kill Hitler if you could. And let me just give you some context to make it easy for you. If you could take the life of Hitler and suffer no consequences whatsoever, except the only consequence being you would remove someone from the earth who's very wicked and very influential, you would not take his life.
I know how it sounds, but it's just, I mean, I think most people in that scenario, if you were there, for example, a lot of people bring up when Hitler was maybe a baby. If you were there, could you actually do that to a child or a baby without, I mean.
No, he's not a baby. Let's just say that he's 25 years old. So he's a proper adult. Not only that, he's been in the military. He's an Austrian-born individual. I think he was born in Linz, and he went into the German military, which is ironic, different times at that point. He had just finished coming out of World War I. He had received, I believe, an Iron Cross for bravery. And you catch him somewhere in the pub, and you have the opportunity to take his life with no consequence whatsoever, and you would thereby prevent all of the atrocities. Would you take his life?
I see how you said thereby prevent all of the atrocities, and I'll answer your question, but genuinely looking at the country at the time, Germany at that time, with a lot of famine, a lot of issues.
Did you say famine?
As in, like, when I say famine, I mean, it was.
They didn't have a famine. They had hyperinflation.
Yeah, hyperinflation. But people were struggling. They're struggling to find jobs. The country was in quite a poor state. I feel like there would have been someone else who would have risen up. I think he was created by the circumstances in which he arose in. So I feel like I'm not sure.
Let's engage that for a moment. You failed to answer a yes or no question, which is fine, but let's engage your suggestion. There's no doubt that there are certain individuals that they're not created by a time, but they step into an epoch, into a moment in history, and they're able to achieve extraordinary things by their unique mix of natural gifts and skills. Vladimir Lenin is one such person. Adolf Hitler is another. For example, we can all concede that we've observed very few speakers that have his harmony of word and body and his manic intensity that wraps crowds around his fingers. Furthermore, he was someone who was actually hired by the military to infiltrate a small, little-known party that came to be known as the NSDAP, the National Socialist Workers' Party, Nationalsozialistische Deutsches Arbeiterspartei. And it was little-known party. It was a small party, an irrelevant party. And he was essentially operating as an intelligence officer to infiltrate this party. Upon being a member of the party, an infiltrator, and he was obviously operating underneath what was in the Weimar Republic, weak social democrat structure, which Germany was not ready for culturally because it just came from being run by, a Prussian tradition, the Kaiser. And so as a result, he said, you know what, these ideas that you guys have, I agree with them. And there were many who did. There were the Freikorps, the former soldiers who were roaming Germany and posed quite a threat to public safety and drove unrest. And through his gifts of speaking and organizing and leadership, which is ironic because he was passed over for promotion in the military due to lack of leadership. It shows you how idiotic bureaucrats are. He then grew a small party that was on the fringes to a massive party, honestly, the likes of which we've not seen since in terms of its efficacy, its ability to organize people and propaganda. He put together the Dream Team, Joseph Goebbels, Himmler, Goering, and many more. The idea that a Hitler level of talent comes around frequently is ludicrous. And so I would actually challenge that though he was a wicked man, he was a brilliant man. And if it were not him, probably we would not have seen someone rise up and do what he did, because there have been many dictators. And so maybe there would have been a dictator, but would he have been a vicious anti-Semite? Would he have been an extraordinary racist? And most importantly, would he have been effective at that level? I challenge no, absolutely not. There's not one person who could have replaced him in that particular country. I yield the floor.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I can see your point, but I mean, of course, there's no way we could ever know because history's only happened in a certain way. But I think you'd agree that the circumstances.
Well, no, there are ways we could know because history is in the past, which means it can be studied. You can analyze the elements and then speak to them. There are many other persons who could have risen up during that time. So I just recounted I just recounted a great deal of historical fact. You can probably tell by the way I spoke to it. And you're countering me with no facts, no references, no mentions of history, no mentions of actual circumstances. In fact, you've been inaccurate. You stated that there was a famine in Germany, which was not the issue there. So what I'm challenging you on is the idea that you're unfamiliar with the history. You're unfamiliar with what it actually takes to be a leader or the unique circumstances and the unique talents of Hitler that allowed him to rise up in that particular society. The reason I mentioned Lenin is because similar to Hitler, he's a unique level of talent. He's a unique mind. For example, he is a genius, there's no doubt. But when the Russian Revolution occurred, he was actually in exile. It was the Germans who put him on a sealed train and sent him back to Russia to have a disruptive force among their enemies. And he took over the revolution from the Soviets because he was that good of an ideologist and as an organizer and an influencer. And then he built the foundations of what still affects us today. He was unique, which is to say the revolution had already occurred without Lenin. And then he took it over because he was that damn good. He called the others and who were communists, he called them Mensheviks, which means minority. He called himself the Bolsheviks, even though they were in fact not the majority. He's a unique mind, a unique level of propagandist, an excellent thinker. He modified Marxism to, you call it Leninist Marxism or the reverse, however you like. But the point is, he's a unique mind. So if you pulled him out of that society, you would not have had the same procession. If you pull an Adolf Hitler out of Germany, you would have had another guy raise up as a dictator, sure, but it would not have gone the same way.
I mean, after the Treaty of Versailles, after World War I, I mean, I just truly believe that. I think there would have been at least one.
You're saying believe. Give the examples. Give the conditions, the historical conditions. Name some people. Like, give me some. Like, you're just talking about you feel, you believe.
There's no way we can know because, of course, it only happened the way that happened where Hitler and World War II, that's the way it happened. So unless we go back and...
Okay, are you noticing that I keep referencing specific things in history, but you're not referencing anything in the history, which is written, by the way, the history is written?
Yeah, I came to talk about Charlie Kirk. So, I mean, it's kind of moved off topic. I wasn't coming to debate,
Yes, but when you talk about Charlie Kirk, we're going through logic, right? We're going to use some logic and reasoning. And often you will refer to history because they say if you don't know your history, you don't understand the present and the future, because history repeats itself. And what we're talking about with Charlie Kirk, to remind you, since you're not holding it all together in your mind, Charlie Kirk was a hate teacher, a hate preacher. And in as much as that's the case, I'm telling you that in history, we've seen before what happens when you allow a hate teacher not to be killed when they are small and ineffective, but when they grow in their influence, they can create lots of trouble, mass murder. So I'm saying to you, maybe this is a situation wherein we prevented a Hitler, we prevented a Pol Pot, we prevented these kinds of. Do you know who Pol Pot is?
Yeah, he orchestrated the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia. He essentially
Mass murder, correct.
Yeah, mass murder.
So what I'm pointing out to you is that maybe it was the prevention of that, but you not being steeped in history, you're unable to track the arguments because you're not familiar with the history. And then what's worse, in your inability to track the history because of ignorance, which is a choice in 2025, then you cannot apply the lesson to the present and understand how Charlie Kirk, being a hate teacher, could evolve into something that's even more detrimental for human society, particularly Black folks in America, which you're not a Black person in America, right?
I'm not, but
okay, right. So probably you're a little bit more disconnected from the threat because it's not as familiar, because you would have had to study the history. You maybe have never had a grandmother who was beaten by racist white folks in the South, or even an uncle that was beaten by a racist police department, not in the South, in San Diego. So you don't maybe have a Fingerspitzengefühl, nor do you know the history. So you're completely disconnected and you're speculative.
I mean, being in the UK, of course, there's a lot of racism here. In fact, Charlie Kirk of 3
Oh,
months.
is Charlie Kirk British?
He's not, but he.
Okay, is he operating in Britain most of the time?
It does have an effect here, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, is he operating in Britain most of the time?
He's not.
Okay, so you guys are a backwater, is what you are now. That's the problem, is that the UK has not been an empire since like before World War I. So you guys are a backwater. You're a small, irrelevant island that still attempts to exercise influence. Your culture is what like comes out of like the toilet of America. So I get what you're saying, but what I'm telling you is that you're not the center of things. So you're talking about, yeah, it has a reverberation there, but this is the center of where it's going down. This is where people will, like, if Charlie Kirk has his, like, creates a racist movement, it's not going to be in the UK. It's going to be in the United States, right? Like, for example, that's like you being in Austria and saying, oh yeah, I know what's going on in Germany. Cool. But Hitler took over Germany first, so they need to worry about that in Germany, number one. Maybe it might spread, but if we can deal with this in Germany, maybe we don't have to deal with it in Austria. We don't have to deal with it other places. Does that make sense?
No, I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
You do raise a good point. I mean, Charlie Kirk has said that the Civil Rights Act was, not good. He said multiple other things, that Martin Luther King was a mythological anti-racist, like verbatim. I agree with you. You said a lot of terrible things. So I guess my follow-up question would be, do you think what happened to him was okay? Because, I mean, I still just don't believe that that's ever acceptable to, do that to someone. Obviously, you seem to disagree. So I'm curious as to what your solution would be to people like him who perhaps hate monger, perhaps spread lies, even if they are racist lies. What would your solution be?
I'm a true believer in freedom of speech. So I think everyone has the freedom to speak. I don't believe there should be a such thing as hate crimes. I think it's a strange concept. I believe that if you have proper laws on the books, laws for assault, laws for murder, laws for things like this, you don't need hate crimes. It's an unnecessary enhancement. So a Charlie Kirk would be permitted to speak. The fundamental solution to a Charlie Kirk is not to stop people from speaking. It's not to have draconian laws. It is to have a properly educated populace so that when people hear something that's patently foolish, they can say, oh, this guy's an idiot. Instead of saying, oh, okay, well, I see how that makes sense. Well, the reason that people listen to a Charlie Kirk and they can't put together how idiotic his arguments are is because they're uneducated. They're woefully uneducated. And that's the chief problem. And my driving force is to get to the root causes so that we can have real solutions or real fruit, right? We deal with the root and then it will bear fruit. The problem is that so often we deal with the outcomes as opposed to the true causes. And Charlie Kirk is not good for Black people. He's not good for white people. He's not good for thinking people. And my challenge to a Charlie Kirk, if I was speaking to him right now, is after he finishes telling me how Black women are fat, and they are, after he finishes telling me how Black people are intellectually inferior, after he finishes telling me how Black people are violent, which is an extraordinary claim coming from anyone who's white, after he finished, unless you're from like Albania or something, places that haven't had a significant empire or colonial footprint, after he finishes that, then I'd say, okay, let's take all those things as true. I have no need to argue against any of it. Let's say Black people are low IQ. Let's say that Black women are fat. What are you doing to fix it? And so you, as a Charlie Kirk acolyte, I'm going to put the question to you. What did Charlie Kirk do to fix the challenges that he describes Black people having?
What has he done to fix them? I mean, I don't believe he would personally want to fix them. Obviously, I think he was most definitely racist. But
okay. So the real challenge is this: you have me, the one who I can see what's going on. So the question isn't what to do with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk's done, clocked out. But the real question is what to do with you, my boy. What to do with you? Because you fence sitters, you overseers. Do you know what an overseer is?
As in someone who watches over other people?
No, the overseer.
What do you mean as in relation to racial?
When some of the whites in America enslaved all of the Blacks in America, and they would force them to toil from sun up to sundown under harsh circumstances, there was someone called an overseer who would enforce that everyone was doing as the enslaver told them to do. No breaks, no complaints, focus on your work, nigga. The overseer, of course, would crack the whip. He would report to the master. He was the one that collaborates with white supremacy. He's an apologist of the system, a defender of the system. He's not a slave master. He ain't up that high. He's not the slave master. He's not even in the slave master's family. He's not benefiting directly, but he speaks on behalf of the slave master. He speaks to validate the system and uphold its existence, to maintain its life, just like you speak to maintaining Charlie Kirk's life. So you would be the overseer. So the question is, for the peoples who would like to live free, the good peoples, what do we do with you?
I mean, addressing what you're saying, listen, obviously Charlie Kirk said a lot of bad things, but you got to understand that.
No. You're about to say something else. I'm saying, what do we do with you?
What do you do with people like me who you believe are overseers? Who
not you, we. No, what do we? Those who would like to live free and peaceful, what do we do with you?
Have I said anything that you think?
I'm not asking you that. I'm just asking, what do we do with you?
What's the context of the question? Like,
I just told you. I just said you are the overseer. I explained everything clearly, and I'm saying, what do we do with you?
I disagree with the premise of your statement. I don't believe I'm an overseer. I don't believe.
I understand you don't believe that you're an overseer. Just like, for example, Muslims, they don't believe that Jesus is God, and Christians don't believe that Jesus is not God. They have different beliefs, and you accept what the other's belief is. So I'm accepting what your beliefs are, but I'm saying, what do we do with you? Like, if you are what I said you are, what do we do with you?
Again, I'm gonna stick with the same premise that I had coming on in that debate is always the way. I don't know if you're trying to lead me towards an answer that's more extreme, but I always believe in, if you disagree with someone, you can point it out and make them look, and you can make them look bad, or you can show them that they're wrong, or show the audience that what they're saying is silly or doesn't make sense.
Yes.
I don't know if your statement is that there should be something more severe that happens to people who you believe are overseers, rather than just pointing that out and demonstrating it to people.
What is your name, young man?
Adi.
Adi. Adi. Adi, I want you to know your nature is beautiful. It's soft, it's open, it's caring, it's accepting, it's loving. And Adi, your nature in particular is the exact same reason that blacks were enslaved in mass, that blacks were colonized in mass. And you still have the same nature of the black that was victim. And I pray that your nature, your mentality, your culture, and your thinking dies with you. I really do. It's extraordinarily dangerous to a freedom-loving people, but it's great for an enslaver. So if I was Charlie Kirk, I'd love to see black people like you think you can debate me while I'm getting this noose ready. You're going to debate me. No, let me tell you 3 reasons you shouldn't string me up in that tree, boss. While I'm getting the whip ready to lash across your back. Let me tell you 3 reasons you shouldn't enslave me again. Because debate works, right? That's, if we're Palestinian, we can debate the Zionists because debate works. Monsters with no morality, debate works. Let's explain to Netanyahu why they should not take the land of the Palestinians. Let's debate Netanyahu on why it's not good to kill children. Because debate is, you just explain, and then the monster's like, oh, like, for sure. I now have changed my mind. I agree with you, little black guy from UK, but really from what, Nigeria? Where your folks from Nigeria? Where are they from? Ghana?
See, living in the UK. But
is it Ghana? Where is it? Nigeria. I'm good. Damn, I'm good. I'm really good. Marquette is the greatest. So yes, little black guy who's from UK, but you're really, to me, Charlie Kirk, you're really just Nigerian. So little Nigerian guy, yeah, you've persuaded me because I look at you as a human. Yeah, I look at you as equal to me, the white guy who's constantly explaining how you're inferior. And because I view you as an equal to me, the one that I call low IQ, I'm going to let you, the low IQ one, explain things to me and persuade me in a debate to treat you like a human, even though I fundamentally don't think that you're a worthwhile human. That makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. Do you not ever sound insane to yourself, or is that just to me you sound insane? Do you ever listen damn, I don't sound realistic?
I'm being honest. I genuinely don't think what I'm saying is bad. I think it's genuinely
yes. Well, let me tell you this.
But I just
let me tell you this.
Mentally, people
like you, with love, because I don't think you're an evil person. I just think that stupidity is evil, and as much as that is the case, you are just as dangerous as Charlie Kirk, who is just as dangerous as Adolf Hitler. To be the one who is the enslaver, clearly dangerous. To be the one who is the overseer for the enslaver, insidious, nasty work. It's nasty work because some people might look at you, Adi, or whatever. I don't know. You're Nigerian. You're not white. You don't have a white name. I can't say your name because it's not white. It's like Nigerian. So since we're not Nigeria, I'll just pretend as though I can't pronounce it, since I'm a white supremacist. So people like you, you're nasty work because some blacks might look at you and think you're one of them, but really you're one of me. You're my spawn. You're my creation. And I appreciate you. Are you a Christian?
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. Does your mom have a white Jesus in her house? Picture. Be honest. Somewhere you've seen a white Jesus in your mom's house. Be honest.
No, but we do go to church. I mean,
okay, the white Jesus is in your church. Okay, very nice. But you don't think your mom has a white Jesus anywhere in the house?
No, not that.
That's damn it. We didn't get you as good as we could have. But you go to church Sundays and you worship a white Jesus, right?
I mean, Christianity was there before.
No, I'm just asking. In your church, is there a white Jesus?
No, there's not a picture of white Jesus.
I mean, you said you don't have to start lying now. You just said that there was a white Jesus.
No. There's no white Jesus. But I know the point you're making is that.
I thought we had you all the way.
I know.
Because our effort is to rob you of what you are. We don't want you to follow the ism. Be yourself. Be good to yourself. Be good to good people. Be yourself. We don't want you to know who you are, nigga. Nigga, we want you to be just like us. Nigga, if you have a unique name, like a Nigerian name, we want you to have a name like John, Paul, James, you know, a white biblical name, an English name, an anglicized name. And if your name is not one of those things, then we will pretend as though we cannot pronounce it, nigga. So what is your name, nigga? What's your name?
My name is Adi, but
no, your name is Toby. What is your name?
Okay, I see what
No, your name is Toby. What is your name?
I'm telling you,
It's Toby. It's Toby. Just say Toby.
With it.
Get the whip. Get the whip. This nigga want to act up. Listen.
Do you think that you are acting like that when you did criticize
Toby? One second, Toby. 1 second. Just real quick. Okay. You live in the UK, bruv. You're a Christian, just like the whites in the UK, bruv. You dress like them. What was your religion? Like, what's your tribe? Was it Igbo? Yoruba. Nice, Yoruba. What was their religion before Christianity or Islam?
Games. I think it was some form of polytheistic or
You think?
I looked into it.
You haven't looked into it. Oh, so what you're saying is, Marquette, you're right. They've separated me from what I am. You maybe don't have to follow it, but damn, you don't even know. You don't even know the history of your people. And I'll tell you why it's so sad, Toby. Toby, it's very, very sad because the Black Americans, they were ripped away from their history and they were forced not to know their history. It was robbed of them, knowledge of self. You voluntarily decided to not know who you are, Toby. And the reason you don't know your own religion is because you've taken out the time to learn my religion. Me, I'm Charlie Kirk, the white supremacist, the Christian. And you've taken out time to study my religion, but you didn't study your own. That's fascinating, Toby. Do you speak Yoruba?
No.
Toby. So you're telling me in 2025, where you could very much so have like a second language, speak Yoruba and English, you're like, my history, it's irrelevant. I don't need that. I don't need to know my own religion. I don't need to know the history of the land from which I come. I don't need to speak the language of my forefathers. I'd rather just pretend they don't exist. Toby, you are me. Say it with me. I am white.
I mean, I understand what you're saying.
No. Just say it. I am white. Okay, just real quick. Okay, try this. This might feel better. Say, I am a white supremacist.
I'm not.
No, you are. Toby, say it. I am a white supremacist.
How is criticizing? I mean,
gosh,
you believe
that's a shame. I'm just trying to get you, Toby. I'm just trying to get you to the truth.
I mean, I'm being
our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the truth, the light, and the something else.
Black people too. It doesn't make you a overseer or white supremacist just because.
What was that?
I mean, you criticize Black people too, like trying to.
I do criticize Black people, Toby, but you know what I don't do? Do you know what I don't do, Toby?
What?
I don't come on as a mouthpiece for white supremacists who hate Black people. That's number one, Toby. And then number two, Toby, I do not criticize Black people without also lifting them up. So I might chastise with one hand and lift up with the other hand. And both are needed. But what I don't do the work of the devil, Toby. I do God's work, but I don't do the work of the devil's. I don't criticize Black people and speak the talking points of white supremacists. And what I also don't do is I don't shed my own culture in favor of the culture of another people. There's nothing wrong with Christianity if you're a white Christian. There's nothing wrong with speaking great English if you're an Englishman. There's nothing wrong with any of the things I pointed out if you're Charlie Kirk. But if you're a Black person who's from Nigeria, knows not the language of the Yoruba, knows not the history, not the religion, it would seem as though you're just another lost nigga and they've taken everything from you and you let them. You study what they have for you to learn, but you didn't try to figure out who you are. You figured out who they are. You know it perfectly, but you know not who you are. It's a shame. You don't think like, damn, this is kind of embarrassing. I had the opportunity to learn who I am. It's as simple as a Google study and a YouTube video, but I didn't take out the time because I don't care about me. That doesn't blow your mind?
I mean, there's not much you can do looking at the history of Nigeria. And the British came to Nigeria, and that's where they got all of the people who they brought to America. So they kind of colonized Nigeria. And
Are you suggesting that Nigerian history started with British colonization?
No, it didn't. But the way colonization works is they, replace the culture, they destroy the culture. They do in like India, for example.
Oh, fascinating.
The British went to India, founded the East Indian Company, looted it, extrapolated the resources, and they did the same in Nigeria.
I'll tell you the difference, though. I know many Indian people. I've had many Indian business partners and employees, and I've even laid with some gorgeous Indian women. I don't know one Indian person who does not speak a language that is from India. They're going to speak Hindi. They're going to speak something. I do not know one person that does not speak a language that is from India who is Indian. Did you know that? I bet all the Indian people you know as well probably speak Hindi or something else that's from India. Furthermore, I don't know one Indian person who is not practicing a religion that is not in India. Like most of the ones I know, could just be me, they are Hindu or they're practicing a religion that makes them a vegetarian, and they have all this like what's the other lovely religion? It's escaping me right now. It's a great book. Sikhs. I know Indians who are Sikhs. I know Indians who are Hindu. These are Indian religions, my boy, even after colonialism. But you, nigga, Toby, you seem like you just really latched on to colonialism. Here's the difference. When they're forcing it on you, that's one thing. But when they're not forcing it on you and you're saying, feed me more white supremacy, and you're seeking it out and studying it and worshiping it every Sunday, nigga, that's you. That's not the British, nigga. You ain't getting colonized right now, nigga. You're colonizing yourself. So your example makes literally no sense because truth be told, if I had the great privilege of being, say, Yoruba or Igbo or Xhosa or Zulu or anything you could name, I'd be a scholar of that. I'd also be a scholar of the British. I mean, were a brilliant people, but I'd for sure know my history because it's a privilege to have a history like yours wasn't erased. So you don't have it because you're lost, and you also won't admit that you're lost and then start trying to become found. You're not going to find yourself unless you search. But you're telling me that Nigerian history begun with British colonization, and that's extraordinary. And the reason, Toby, I knew only lost niggas would show up because real niggas don't support a Charlie Kirk. They damn sure don't defend a Charlie Kirk. Now, a real nigga might not celebrate the death of Charlie Kirk. That's kind of crazy. But they damn sure ain't going to show up and try to show out for somebody who viewed them as little more than an incompetent, overweight, violent monkey. You should be ashamed to even show up to defend something like that.
I mean, that's your opinion.
No, those are called the facts, actually. But like the facts, like you don't know your religion, you don't know your real language, you don't know your own history. Those are called the facts, Toby.
But it's a matter of like assimilation when you move into a country or you move to another country.
Assimilation.
No,
I'll tell you what assimilation is. I have some great examples of assimilation. For example, I know a gorgeous Ukrainian woman I used to deal with. Beautiful. She moved into Poland and she is assimilated. She speaks a little bit of Polish. She eats pierogies and, is blended into the society quite well. She's not adopted their religion. She has not forgotten how to speak Ukrainian, and she still thinks Ukrainian food is better and cooks Ukrainian food from scratch. Assimilation is not you releasing that which you are, Toby. Come on now. Come on, Toby. Listen, you don't have to fight it, because when you're fighting this truth that I'm sharing, all I'm trying to do is bring you back to you. I'm trying to introduce you to you, nigga. But you're fighting me so hard, like, boy, Marquette, God damn it, I will not be black. I will not be Nigerian. I will not figure out what is Yoruba. What's the language? What's the history? What's the religion? No, I am an Englishman. I'm an Englishman, darling. Pip, 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 cheerio. Let's have tea and crumpets. Do you not think that there's a good number of white folks in UK or America, Charlie Kirk fans, that look at you as little more than an incompetent, violent, aggressive ape? Are you aware of that?
I don't doubt that there's some people are extreme in their rhetoric and extreme in their beliefs, but fundamentally what I'm saying is that, as I said, it's a Malaysian.
You keep escaping the truth, but I'm saying, do you not realize that most of Charlie Kirk's viewers look at you that way?
I mean,
it's hard to accept.
A certain amount do, but no, I wouldn't say majority.
Oh, you wouldn't say the majority. You see, the
majority.
challenge, the reason that you're blind is because when you're around, they don't say it. They wait till you leave. That's why you're a little bit deluded. You see, you think that you're the same. You think that you're one of them. Like, yeah, we're conservatives. And I'm not a liberal. They're psychopaths. But you think that you're like one of the boys. And when you leave, they talk about you and they don't invite you to certain things. You think that the British, who colonized all of the colored peoples, including your people, you think now they think that you, the colonial subject, is equal to them? You believe that?
I mean, as I said, some people don't, some do. There's, of course,
yes, but we're talking about Charlie Kirk and his supporters. You see consistently he spoke ill of blacks like you, right?
He's debated multiple times with her. You know, a couple of years ago, they went on a tour to college campuses and debated. You don't think he'd see her as an equal?
So, wow, you're very hopeful. You're very hopeful. I like that. You're very hopeful. So I just want you to know, and I want everyone watching to know, you're a sweet young man. You're a very hopeful, loving young man. But ignorance and stupidity is evil. And it is upon good men to eradicate evil. And just as dangerous as an Adolf Hitler or a Charlie Kirk, you are as dangerous, but probably worse, because you look like us, but you are not on our team. You're not on our side. And that's why I want everyone watching to know that I always tell you guys that the ism is not a racial thing. I'm not for black people. I'm for good people. Because there's some black people who are not good people, like Lil Nas X, you. And it's not because you're malicious. It's because you're so lost, young man. And you will never be found because the inferiority has been pushed into you so deeply. It saddens me, really, because you can't be saved. You're too far gone, because you would sit here and argue on behalf of your colonizer, argue on behalf of your enslaver. You're not talking about a regular white guy. Like, for example, I've done business with a lot of white women, white men. I have friends who are white women, hell, I have people in my family who are white people. And any one of them I would defend on the basis of their goodness. Yes. But if they were a racist and they're spewing out hatred about black people, never helping any black person, I would never defend them. And those are people I know. Those are people I'm actually familiar with. But you set out to defend a stranger who hates you. And that just shows us what you think of yourself. You hate yourself as well.
I've got one final thing to say, in that, I understand what you're saying, but
No. You don't understand. But you've heard me. You heard me. You can say I heard what you said, but you understand.
I heard you, but they do say some things. For example, in the USA, like a black person they have an 88% chance of being, killed by another black person. So, for example, like criticizing their own community, trying to help black people and change the culture so that they're not, hurting each other, killing each other, and actually trying to be better. These are things that, people like Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens do say.
Wait, do you really think Charlie Kirk cares about black people killing black people? You believe that?
I mean, if he's pointing out statistics that are true, that, a certain percentage of the population, but committing a large proportion of the crimes, and fundamentally.
Let me ask you a question. And really, they got to improve the educational system over there. And this is precisely why I started off. I said that education is hugely important for solving the Charlie Kirk situation. Let me destroy that statistic real quick. Number one, it's goofy for a number of reasons. You don't even need facts. You can just use logic. Let's use a bit of logic. Take a wild guess. Do blacks live mostly around Asians, Arabs, whites, or blacks? A, B, C, or D? What do you think?
Other blacks.
Oh, they live around other blacks, but that wouldn't be unique, because do you think that maybe whites live mostly among whites? Would you say that? Would you think that maybe Indians live mostly around Indians? Would you think that?
That's true.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, great. So if you see crime happening, it would mostly be blacks doing it to blacks merely because they live among one another, right?
Yeah, that's true. But
okay, great. So that's destroyed. That's idiocy. Now let me show you how biased you are.
Amount of crime that
1 second, young man. Let me show you how biased you are. Now, you said 80% of crimes
88% of black people are murdered by other black people.
88% of black people. It looks like you're reading right now.
No, I'm not on another screen. I can see you right now. Like that's just I've researched. I've looked at it before. And that's
okay, it's just that I could see like you usually have two different focus points, and you were
I was
using
just looking at the chat because it's on the side.
Oh, you're looking at the chat. Okay, fantastic. Stay here, stay focused. You're gonna need your focus here, I promise you. So, what percentage? Now hit me with that percentage one more time, just real quick.
88%.
88% what?
Of black people are killed by other black people.
Okay, 88% of black people are killed by other black people. Very good. Now, without looking at your screen or looking at the chat or researching, what percentage of white people are killed by other white people?
I believe it's around. I think it's around a similar percentage. I don't know exactly, but
why is it? No, real quick. Why is it you seem to be able to marshal the statistics of the bad things the blacks do? And I just said simply, let's look at the analog. What percentage of whites are killed by whites? And then all of a sudden you're like, that doesn't strike you as like, well, geez, I can't be a rational person. Like the most basic assumption would be to check the analog, right? To check the counter. It'd be the most basic thing. Why didn't you do that?
But my point was they're coming in.
No, I didn't ask you what your point is. I asked you, why did you not do the basic thing of checking the other side?
Because looking at black people, I'm only focused on them. I'm not focusing on.
You're only focused on black people. Why are you only focused on black people?
I mean, as a black person, I think it's.
Let me help you out. You're not a black person, Toby. Number one, you're looking at crime data, supposedly, from the United States of America. Those are foundational black Americans. That's a different ethnic group. You're a fucking Nigerian, young man. So that is comparable to someone being Chinese and saying, well, you're not a foundational black American. You're Chinese. You're from a totally different place. So why are you so concerned with what's going on with the foundational black American? Are you a foundational black American?
I mean, not by the definition. No, I'm in the UK.
No, there's not. What do you mean by definition? You're not. You're not in any way. You have no connection to the foundational black American. That's like saying an Italian and a German are the same because they're both white. They're not the same. Would you agree?
No, the same.
Yeah, no, they're not the same. One's Italian, one's German. They're different ethnic groups. Categorically, yes, they're both white, but they're unrelated. And in fact, when you take the British, since you're in UK, the British and the Germans, they're both white, correct?
Yeah.
But they're not the same, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. So you're a Nigerian. I'm a foundational black American. We're not the same. So why the hell are you so concerned about what we're doing?
I was just bringing up the point in that.
I'm asking you, why are you so concerned with what we're doing? Because you're not us.
There's definitely some analogs and some, comparisons between.
There are no analogs because you're totally a different culture. You're Nigerian. I'm foundational black American. Someone's German, someone's British. Those are different cultures. We're not the same. So you have no reason to be concerned with what we're doing. That's number one. The reason you picked that up is because we're both black and you hate your blackness. And you can express that through Charlie Kirk. And that's been implanted in you and you know not. Now, understand this. Here's the other point, because Charlie Kirk has more of a reason to talk about it than you. He's at least an American. He's at least in the same damn country, and he can pretend that our affairs affect him, which they don't, because you yourself said 80% of black people are murdered by black people, which means that black on black crime is the issue, not black on white crime. So white people probably don't have a big issue because they live among themselves. Now, that was obliterated, and also I exposed you for being an unreasonable racist, which is to say, if you were a reasonable person, you probably would have at the basics said, well, white people commit white on white crimes at this rate, which is different than the blacks, but you didn't even do the basic research on that. Number one. Then if you were really smart, like I told you in our last session to be more prepared, you would have showed up and said, oh, in addition to that, I also can tell you that the ethnic Chinese, they commit Chinese on Chinese violence at just 17%, which lets you know that there is a problem within said community because there's a huge disparity. But you didn't do your research because you didn't want to do the research. Why didn't you want to do the research? Because you need that narrative of black people being impulse uncontrolled animals. That's why you didn't do the research, young man, because you're in an era where it's easier than ever to do research. Now, let me finish breaking you down like Legos. Dig this. In addition, You want to talk all of this stuff about, violence, the blacks are violence. This is your Charlie Kirk talking point, young man. How many people have whites murdered?
In all of history?
However you want to take it. All of history, since America started, last week, let's rewind a little bit. I'm gonna make it easier. These are setups. I've already thought 10 moves ahead. I'm just setting you up real quick. So walk with me, young man. What's the definition of murder?
Unjustified killing of another human being.
Unjustified. Who decides if it's justified?
It depends on the person. I mean, you can look at it from a legal standpoint, or more, it depends. But
okay, so let's take a legal standpoint. Legal, meaning laws. Laws come from what? Governments, correct?
Yep, correct.
Great. Now, if you were under the Nazi government, which was in fact a government, would you agree?
Yes.
Then the murder of all of the people who will remain nameless, the small hats, murdered 6 million of them. That was murder according to the law, which was justified by the government, meaning it was okay. So it wasn't murder then by your definition. Do you realize that? Do you realize just by your definition, meaning unjustified murder according to the law, if the Nazis are the government and they say that it's okay to kill these people, then it's justified. And this is not new in European history, right? Colonialism that's all of colonialism, which means that your crime statistics never account for the murder of the ruling class. It's not murder when they do it. It's murder when you do it, Toby. But when they do it, it's justified, just like you said. You're a good lapdog for them. Do you understand the logic that I just broke down for you, or is it confusing? I can run it back if you need me to.
I mean, I understand, but you didn't let me say my main point.
No. I'm just saying. So you do understand. You understand how the crime statistics get cooked. For example, Donald Trump murdered some people on a boat recently, right? Supposedly coming out of Venezuela, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Was that murder or was that justified?
Legally, it would be justified considering it was a government.
I'm asking you, was it justified or was it murder?
I mean, personally, I would say it was murder. I wouldn't say that's justifiable to do that to people, but from his standpoint, that would have been.
Yeah, it's really tough, you see, because the ruling class, your white supremacists, when they do it, it is justified. And when they do it, it's not accounted in the crime statistics because they decide who the criminal is. And it's you, nigga. It's not them. You see, I bet you there's no crime statistics on murder with regards to the murder of the Native Americans. We don't know how many they killed. Kind of hard to count, probably. How many Africans did they kill? Just transporting Africans to the New World. We don't know, but even if we did know, it's not considered murder because you guys are not humans. You're not your property, your chattel. How many people were killed once blacks were recognized as humans? Do we have the data on it? Interesting. So what I'm pointing out to you, young man, is that you would follow Charlie Kirk, who's trying to suggest that there's something wicked in the black DNA that makes them so violent. And that's why they have these terrible, unfavorable statistics that show that they're killers. Yet you would observe whites like Ukrainians. Would you say Ukrainians are white? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Would you say that Russians are white? Yes or no?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, great. Thanks for using reality. I appreciate it. Now, they're killing each other, right? They're calling it war. But one of those sides is not justified. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of those sides is committing murder, right?
Yeah, according to my...
Okay, great. Now, do you think that they're counting that as murder and crime statistics anywhere on Earth?
It depends. I mean, Russia.
No, dummy. They're not counting it as. I can't even ask you guys questions when you people come on here. Of course, they're not counting it as murder. They're calling it war and they're calling it justified. Just like the Europeans who call themselves Israelis are killing the kids in Gaza. Are they calling that murder? No, they're calling it war. That's what they do. They lie. Their chief tool is deception. And in their lies, you can never account for what they're actually doing. And that's how Charlie Kirk fools people like you. The American government goes into, which is to say white supremacists, goes into Iraq, mass murder. They go into Afghanistan, mass murder. They go into Syria, mass murder. They go into Libya, mass murder. They cause the Ukraine-Russia war, mass murder. They support what's going on in Palestine, mass murder. Now, point is, none of it do they count in crime statistics as murder. None of it. But they have a bloodthirst, these people. There's something in their DNA that causes them to kill because they've never stopped killing, my dear boy. They've been on a killing spree. My whole life, your whole life, your grandmother's whole life. but that's not in the crime statistics. So you Charlie Kirk acolyte, so you tell me, what are the crime statistics on those wars that I put out? Like white people killing people in an organized, efficient fashion. It's not in the crime statistics. Do you understand my point?
Yeah, I think that's.
Do you because you use the term justified? Do you recall that most of the countries on earth said that the invasion of Iraq was unjustified? So by your definition, everyone who died in Iraq as a result of the American presence would have been murdered, which would make it a crime, an international crime, in fact, a crime against humanity, in my opinion. That being the case, is that going to show up in crime statistics that Charlie Kirk uses?
Most likely not.
Of course not, because they redefine things. They redefine things to change the game, to move the goalposts, to lie. And they've been doing that forever. That's why you believe they're superior, because they lied to you. That's why you believe you are inferior, Toby, because they lied to you and you believe the lie. You carry their book every Sunday and you think you're a Christian. That's the same religion that enslaved millions of black people throughout the world. Do you know that?
Yeah, but Christianity.
Yeah. You ever read Ephesians?
Pardon?
You ever read Ephesians in the good book?
I read verses in Ephesians, but.
Oh, you ever read the verse in Ephesians that says, follow your earthly masters?
But you're kind of isolating it to the transatlantic slave trade when, Christianity existed long before that.
I'm just asking you a question about Christianity, and you're kind of running from it because it seems as though you're trying to protect your white supremacist religion that justifies enslavement.
Just because they used it in a bad
your
way.
people, your people.
But that would mean they used it in a bad way. They used Christianity in a bad way. It doesn't make Christianity itself.
Oh, you're okay. So Christianity is not bad. It just justifies slavery explicitly. And it was used directly in the institution of slavery, including slave ships named Jesus. Did you know that? There were slave ships named Jesus. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. No.
Now you know, little buddy. Use Google every now and then. Because I promise you, the white supremacists will not teach you your history in their schools. They won't do that to you. But anyways, I think you've been fried up enough, and there's no helping anyone like you. It's just really casting pearls to swine. But I still love you, though, young man. That does not mean I would not split your wig. Anyways, you have anything to close with?
No. I appreciate you for giving me your time.
No, absolutely. It's always a pleasure. It just hurts me that one day when the revolution pops off, we're going to have to lay you down. It really does hurt me. But I tell you what, we will give you a proper Christian burial. Courtesy of yours truly. Peace of the saints.
I'll see you.
These N words be crazy, bro. I got a little bit of time, man. We got to wind down. Talk to me, Z.
What's happening, bro?
Chilling,
that was crazy. You said we're gonna give him a proper Christian burial.
On God.
Damn. But you know what I'm saying? I agree with most of the things you're saying and stuff like that. I don't think that Charlie Kirk is as racist as you say. You know what I'm
Damn,
saying?
they got you too. They got you too.
No. I'm not a Christian. I ain't no, you know what I'm saying? If the revolution pop off, you know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna have to put me down there. Definitely don't give me no Christian burial for sure. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is like all that stuff you just said to the previous guy, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to say that to Myron.
Oh, do I? Is
you
Myron
have to, bro. He's way worse. You just said that
one second.
My bad. Go ahead.
Is Myron about to call into this show and argue on behalf of Charlie Kirk?
Well, I'm not arguing on behalf of Charlie Kirk.
I'm not saying you are. I'm saying that's what the last guy did. He called into the show to argue on behalf of Charlie Kirk. Is that what Myron is about to do?
All right. So let's say because he's not going to call into the show and argue on behalf of Charlie Kirk.
That's right.
But would they not apply to my? And I actually
let me ask you this: if Myron called into the show to argue on behalf of Charlie Kirk, we would have the same nature of conversation. But he's not going to call into the show and argue on behalf of Charlie Kirk because he has his own show. He has his own affairs.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right. He has better things to do.
Would you not address the things that he's been saying on Twitter for the past 48 hours?
If he calls in to argue on behalf of Charlie Kirk, it will be the same arguments.
Okay. Well, let's say,
for example, real quick, just to address what you said. So you said you have to tell Myron the same things.
Well,
let me respond to that. So what I'm not in the business of is forcing my opinion on people. So I'm not going to show up to anybody and say, hey, you think this and No, no, I'm not going to do that to anybody because it's a waste of my time. It's not what I teach at all. It's completely unproductive. Now, if he invited me onto his show or he came onto my show and that was the topic of discussion, we'll have the conversation. But other than that, just showing up to troll people or to be needlessly confrontational, it's irrelevant. It's just, there's no fruit there. And more importantly, with regards to white supremacists, you know who I have the biggest target on is Nerd Fuentes, and he's running from me. Nerd Fuentes, that's the one I want because Myron is not a white supremacist hero who has an organization of people who follow him and call themselves a particular thing and are going to be harmful. That's Nerd Fuentes. And so that's where my attention is focused. And with regards to Myron, we have a number of things that we don't agree on. We have things we do agree on. We've had good relations, and what's that? You faded out. Go ahead. I can't hear you. Give me a second. Can anybody in the chat hear this young man? If you can hear the gentleman, put a 1 in the chat. If you cannot hear him, put a 2 in the chat. If you can hear the gentleman, put a 1 in the chat. And if you were having trouble hearing him, put a 2 in the chat. 2. Okay. Yeah. Your audio is messed up. You get your audio together. Come back on. Howdy.
Oh, God. I didn't try to come on, brother. I'm just
okay. That was crazy. You got to turn the music off. All right, so he about to get us flagged for copyright because he got his music on. That's a pity. Anyways, let me catch up with some of these super chats and we'll get back after it. One moment. May I acknowledge Mr. Kobo? Shout out to Kaiju writes, I finally caught you live. Thank you for what you do, sir. Absolutely. I appreciate you. And shout out to all the people who actually support the work. You support people who come on, they give it their all. They put together meaningful information. That's a little different than what you typically see on YouTube. You know, people come on, let me check. So I come on prepared, and I appreciate those of you who show love to those who show love to you. I show you love in coming prepared, not wasting your time. Shout out to Positive Pulse, writes paying tuition, piece of saying. Shout out to Darius, he writes, sent in the 2-second clip over Venmo. Appreciate you. Shout out to Elwood writes, actions speak louder than words and beliefs are not bulletproof. Hey, shout out to trying to see the good in her. Oh, don't do that. I also acknowledge Mr. Allen writes, within my first month of moving to New Orleans, I knew that it was a modern day Sodom. Damn, New Orleans too. I spent a lot of time down there, in Baton Rouge as well. But it is a little curious, let's say that. He writes, and that I can never raise a family here or stay too long. You don't have to live somewhere for a lifetime to gather a feel for it. Oh, I agree. The Egyptian ball was lying his butt off. Shout out to Mr. Chima writes, he is a reflection of the low state of Egyptians, absolutely afraid to tell the truth. Shout out to Mr. Lopez writes, peace of the saints supporting the work. Appreciate you. Shout out to Blaine writes, it's amazing how many people interpret pride and self-respect as arrogance. It's always just the losers, man. I may also acknowledge Petty Rice supporting the work. And shout out to Mitch writes, I just started watching your videos recently and you've completely changed my perspective on what it means to be an honorable man. I truly appreciate the guidance and wisdom, peace of saints. I appreciate you. Shout out to Mitch. Shout out to all the Mitches. And we welcome you warmly to this thing of ours. Shout out to Wiz, just became a member. May also acknowledge Mr. Chambliss. He writes, even the #1 Olympian Jesse Owens could not convince Hitler to treat black people well. His treatment was even worse when he got back to the States. Yes, indeed. There's even documentaries on that. In fact, he died broke. Shout out to Major Minded Soul writes, this Nigerian fellow is the younger version of the Egyptian that came on before him. This mixture of feigned intelligence, willful ignorance, and arrogance ages badly. In truth, it's a cancer. We need chemo. Bro, you ain't never lied. Shout out to Shola writes, the saint has touched a nerve. Oh, yeah, and the Egyptian boy, yeah, he was getting big mad. Shout out to Keon supporting the work as well. May also acknowledge Petty Rice came back. Insane Marketer writes, this young man will either accept the truth or continue living. He's going to live the life for sure. Shout out to Wishman writes, a quick Google search says white on white murder is 84%, according to the FBI, only 4 points above the blacks. Right. Is it statistically significant? Doesn't sound like it. May I acknowledge ABCD writes, is it possible to share one's own screen in these YouTube debates? Is it possible to share one's own screen? I'm not entirely sure what you're referencing. I share my screen all the time. Shout out to Tyler writes, peace of the saints. Appreciate you. Peace of the saints indeed. Yes, indeedy. And shout out to Mr. Monroe writes, good afternoon, much love, keep up the good work. Absolutely, my pleasure. And thank you for acknowledging it. I don't think anyone likes to do a good job and not be acknowledged. Shout out to Malik, comes in by the Millie Race. Peace of Saints, just showing love and sending what I can. This time, Monday, my daughter will be born and she will be raised up with this ism. Let's get to this work. Congratulations, young man. Very proud. And I encourage all of the saints to have big families. We need more good people. Absolutely. That's a blessing. Beautiful thing. Congratulations. Jason, talk to me.
What's going on, buddy? I really appreciate everything that I've been seeing of you on lately.
I appreciate you.
And I noticed that you said you don't do Google Pay and everything, but I'm gonna have to set up a Venmo account because I really see everything that you're saying, and I appreciate the fact that you're checking these people, especially the people in London who are no longer not even here to even experience the things that we go through.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, the sad thing is when they're ignorant of something, pretending as though that they know it well. And then more importantly, they're identifying with us, even though they're not us. It's like, you never have black folks in America thinking about black folks in UK. We don't ever think about them. No disrespect. And we don't ever like try to identify with them. You hear me? Like, we make fun of them. Shout out to the comedian. He was like, I hate UK rap. Yeah. It's like, yeah, we make fun of y'all. Like, we don't identify with y'all at all, but y'all are over there identifying with us, acting like you know what we go through.
It's a whole nother culture. You live a whole nother lifestyle. You don't even know what's going on over here. But I don't come in support of Charlie Kirk. I don't even really know anything about him like that. But I do hear negative things about him. But my thing is this, that I don't really feel like that life really mattered for our community specifically. For our community, we don't really, all that other stuff, we pay attention to you, we acknowledge what you're saying, but we don't really get involved because that's not something that's going to affect us. It may affect us on the scale of the fact that you have a white supremacist ideology and you have the power to change policy and you have influence and money to be able to do so. But at the same time, that ain't got nothing to do with us. You died based upon your politics and your ideas, and it's probably not even got anything to do with our community. It's probably something else that's in the government that he was speaking out against that had nothing to do with us as a people. So life matters, yes. All lives matter, yes. But at the same time, when you are creating and stirring up a reality for yourself that creates a negative result, then how can we actually care for it when you don't talk positively about our people? Right. Like, I don't understand that. Like, so my thing is, I don't care about him. Have you heard about this 68-year-old woman in New Brunswick, New Jersey, who got gunned down by the police, and it was supposed to be a mental health check? That has more relevance to me because I'm here in New Jersey first and foremost. But the simple fact that you go on a health check, a mental health check, you say a woman is wielding a knife. She's 68 years old and she's known as a schizophrenic, right?
Right.
In her community. But nonetheless, we get pictures of a Ukrainian immigrant getting stabbed up by some brother that got locks that they want to demonize. He might have mental health issues himself.
Guaranteed he does. What? Do normal people
But
stab
at the
people
same time, like, why put pictures up of these two, but you don't put pictures up of that cop and that old woman?
Why? We're playing with it.
Because you're trying to facilitate an idea in order to establish a reaction from our community. And that's not something that we want any parts of. So speak on everything that's going on. You picked up on that one little small news story out there where the Ukrainian woman was at, but you don't pick up on the small news of the fact that the people that you support, the boys in blue, you don't talk about that. They done killed an old woman based upon the fact that they're training. And then there was a woman a week prior to that wielded a knife and tried to kill a firefighter. Oh, I'm sorry.
I believe you. I got to cut you there just because I want to give some folks a chance to get on. Jason, I appreciate you coming on. It's a pleasure to meet you. And apparently you got to get that damn smoke detector changed up, my boy.
I hear you. You know how we do in our community. We don't pay that no mind.
Well, I tell you what, I'm actually working right now on the blueprint for Black people. And one of the things in there is that we must raise our standards and we cannot speak ill of ourselves as a culture. There's enough people doing that already, right?
This is
I'm sure that there's enough white supremacists who are like, look at this N-word, they won't even change the smoke detector, lazy. So it's like, you don't really need to do that. You heard me? And we have to work through that. So that's one of my parting words. I appreciate you. It's a pleasure to meet
I'll
you.
tell you this. That's something that I need to go ahead and fix and check.
Hell
And,
yeah,
I'm open to any criticism. I'm not one of these people that are just going to like listen to you and then be like, oh, but never mind. I don't like what you're saying, so I'm going to keep speaking on my topic. I understand that there's a need for us to begin to grow and develop. So we have to open our minds to things that we may not be comfortable with. And what you come with sometimes in our community, people may not be comfortable with. But at the same time, it's necessary in order to force the agenda of change.
And that's why some of them, I'm going to have their heads sitting on a spike in front of my castle. Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Stay
Jason,
blessed,
peace
stay
of the
safe,
saints.
bro.
Yes, sir.
Stay blessed, stay safe.
Talk to me.
How's it going, Marquette?
Marquette, I'm
Let me
fine.
make sure
How
my
are you?
audio's. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I've been watching you for a while, and I absolutely do not agree. Charlie Kirk was a piece of trash, and people get shot every day. B, I'm sorry.
Oh, hey, B, people get shot every day, B. Bruh, tell the people.
Sorry.
Tell the
I'm
people.
sorry.
Especially if you live in
can't-
Chicago, New Orleans, Baltimore.
Correct. You cannot expect black tears or any black sympathy when I've been looking through clips these past 24 hours. I haven't found one thing positive that this guy has said about the black community. Not one.
Uh-oh.
Not one.
Mm.
Not one thing, not one positive contribution, nothing.
Mm.
So whatever, Charlie Kirk. What a shame it had to be so public like this, but people get shot every day, B.
Niggas die every day, B.
I don't know.
Yo, I'm not laughing at the fact that he
appreciate you having
died.
me
I'm
on.
laughing at how you said that. Jonathan, I appreciate you. It's a pleasure to meet you, brother.
All right, keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir. Mike, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, man? I just want to say, man, thank you a lot, man, for your stuff, man. You opened my eyes a lot, man, with the Charlie Kirk situation. I used to be one of them, man. But like you said, man, like it's funny to say, man, like the way he died, man, and all the things he was saying about black people. He used to be one of them now, if you could say so. Thank you, man.
I appreciate
Have a blessed
you,
day
brother.
from Canada.
Thank you. Shout out to the Canadians. Hey, you better go tap in with the Canadian section, man. They had a great event in Toronto just a month ago. So good brothers over there. You'll want to meet them.
Thank you, man. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir. Okay, I would bring some more folks on, but they are sitting in darkness or their cameras are off. So while they're getting their lighting situation together over there, let me acknowledge some of these folks. Mustafa writes, have you ever considered going to campuses and speaking to the youth? As a black man, we have been yearning for leaders such as yourself. I appreciate that. In fact, I will tell you anyone, and this is my pledge, anyone who arranges it, I will show up. Make the arrangement, get in contact with me. I'll show up, which is to say, get the audience together, and I'll show up to your college campus. Thank you. And I've done that in the past, but it was, people were paying some serious racks. You heard me. Shout out to Daniel. He writes, peace of the saints. I always appreciate the knowledge being dropped. Thank you, sir. Shout out to Daniel. Mouse acknowledge to stop playing Trey. He writes, looking to get me a piece for self-protection. Do you have any recommendations on ones that are easy to conceal but get the job done? The truth is they all get the job done because frankly, as soon as that thing start going off, they're all loud. You know what I mean? It's the number one, it's the sound. When people realize you clapping that thing at them, like, yeah, like they ain't about to stick around. Like very seldom does someone want to engage in a gunfight. So you should really be thinking more so around number one, reliability, which is to say a strong quality build. And number two, ease of concealment. And one of my first pieces, pocket pistols, which are what I favor, was a C-Camp handmade beauty, not cheap. I got another one that I can tell you about. I won't speak about it on air, but I prefer the pocket pistol. And, there you go. Shout out to Mick DeMos writes, brother, you just shattered my so-called reality, and I thank you, King. I appreciate you. Shout out to the real ones. Shout out to those men who are manly enough to reason, to use reason, logic, to be open to new information. Shout out to Conversation Peace writes, not a thing, just supporting the work. Shout out to the real ones. Black writes, Saint, you sound confused. You're confused. You don't agree with me? You're confused. Islam enslaved more blacks than Christianity. What's your stance? That wasn't even the topic, stupid. What is wrong with these people? If the topic was how many people were enslaved by each religion, then maybe we could talk about it. It wasn't even a topic. So how could I be confused? You're a goofy little rascal. He writes, Muslim, probably, yet you love the bunnies all over the place. What is this guy, psychopath? Black dude in 360, I need you to come on. We need to have a discussion because you're a psychopath. I like you, though. I like you. We're going to have some fun, I can tell. And just side note, do I deal with the bunnies? The best of them, you heard me? I'm taking the cream of the crop out here. I ain't dealing with fat, ugly white girls. And you have to remember, I'm an international super player. I deal with all of the women. You heard me? I just got about Africa. I did some work in Africa, man. You better ask about me. Y'all boys got to stop lying, man. It's the hatred in your hearts. You be looking at me like, what can I say about this guy? And it's hard. Y'all be like racking your brain, like, what can I say about him? So then you just go into the lies. Y'all go to the lies ASAP. You got to chill with that. Shout out to Dim Notes, supporting the work. Appreciate you. I also acknowledge Baldy, supporting the work. Shout out to Keon writes, toward the guide for the Black American. Oh, it's going to be for all Black people in the world. So even the Toby from earlier can benefit from this. Shout out to Terry. He writes, peace of the saints, always supporting. And shout out to Terry. Appreciate you. I also acknowledge Dev Dude. He just gifted 10 Saints memberships. And again, I want to tell you guys, this is how you know that I'm about the principle, not the money. The principle is the most important thing to me. Don't do that, please. I'm going to say this again. I hope everyone's listening. When he gifts 10 memberships, that pays me. I want to be transparent. That I get 70% of that money. Well, really like 60%. Google, which runs YouTube, they take 30% of the money. Then Uncle Sam steals 1% of the money. And then I get the rest as though I wasn't the one working. It's crazy. But when you gift the memberships, it goes to random people. And I truly believe in that 3 cents Bible, that 3 cents Torah, that 3 cents Quran. Be yourself, be good to yourself, be good to good people. The last one, be good to good people. The memberships go as gifts to random people. We don't know the nature of these people. Do not give gifts to people you don't know to be good people. So even though it would make me more money, I encourage against it. I don't want that money. So I would advise you guys to use other ways of supporting. I appreciate you for supporting. And I thank you because you have a saintly heart. But the problem is that sometimes we're not among saints. You know, we're among the public. So I appreciate you. Shout out to the real ones for supporting the work. Shout out to Dev. He writes, can't buy super chats over €2, so I bought 10 subs. I appreciate you, Dev. In the description, I do believe there's a link to support on PayPal if need be. May I also acknowledge Gene. He writes, how is Kirk any of the things you've accused him of? You didn't state one hateful thing he said. You know what? It's an open debate. You can come on and have a chat. I will bring you on. So just give me a moment. He writes, yet you have said you want to enslave blacks. No. There's some black individuals I would enslave, but I would enslave anyone who needs to be enslaved. I'm not discriminating. The more slaves, the better. He writes, and you speak racism toward whites. Word, please stop it. Knock it off. Writes, the hypocrisy is unreal. Gene. Oh, I remember Gene. Gene's the same from last time that wouldn't come on. Gene, I can't deal with you, bro. You're the same guy from last time. We're like, Gene, come on screen. Let's talk about it. And you didn't want to come on screen. I remember you, bro. ABC.
Am I on here?
You're on here.
It's first. I want to say it's an honor to see you to speak with you for the first time. I should say I've been watching for quite a long time, and I've gained quite a lot of respect for you and everything you do. I appreciate you, but I want to talk about, especially as someone here, born and raised in the Bronx, New York City.
BX. Okay, what we got?
Right. When you say about what about the statistics? I'm sorry, I might not be the best articulative person, especially when I try to like speak or whatever. But oh my god. So let's see. According to here, I want to say why it might not be such a bad idea to see most blacks, in particular, when it comes to crime. According to the NYPD crime statistics, well, first off, they're 20%, 20 to 23% of the population of New York.
Okay.
Suspects, murder and non-negligent.
Okay.
Yeah. Murder and non-negligent manslaughter.
Okay.
It says, let's see, blacks over here make up 63.8% of the suspects, 57.8% of the arrested. And by the way, this is as of 2024, by the way.
Very good.
Okay, so let's see. Rape. Blacks, 40.
Oh, you can't say that word. You can't say that word.
Oh,
real
right,
quick,
right,
let me go ahead and take a pause real quick. Let's dig in if you don't mind.
My bad. I know you're on YouTube.
Yeah, no, it's okay. So let's log in if you don't mind. So you're going through crime statistics, which I think is fine. There's nothing wrong with crime statistics. But we want to find truth. Would you agree we're seeking truth?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
You know,
Fantastic.
I'm always willing to learn.
Me too. So we're looking at the crime statistics. Would you say that there is racism exercised on a consistent, systematic basis in the American legal system and policing?
I wouldn't really say so. Is it possible?
Very good. Okay, now let me reply. I was just asking because if you say yes, then I don't have to explain as much. If you say no, then I have to elaborate. So I'll elaborate now. So there's a book entitled Prison Race that was written by Dr. Renford Reese, a research scholar, one with a doctorate. And in this book, Prison Race, he goes through crime data similar to what you're doing, except you're doing it as a lay person. He's doing it as a scholar at a primarily white institution. And in Prison Race, he identifies when you hold consistent the crimes and the backgrounds of the supposed or would-be criminals, which is say you take one white male, you take one black male, and they're both accused of, for example, murder, since you picked murder. We find that consistently, in a statistically significant way, in a very significant way, that blacks receive much longer sentences and much less leniency. And no matter how petty the crime, the black is almost more than likely to be locked up for it and put a part of the system, whereas the whites don't get the same treatment. And this is documented fact by a scholar at a white institution. That's number one. So we know that policing and the criminal justice system are both racially biased. Now, mind you, we agree on, is it bad to commit crimes? For sure. Are blacks probably committing crimes more than they should? That's my guess. I mean, I see them out in the real world. They seem like they're a little bit thrown off. Well, I agree with you there. Would I want to live in an all-black neighborhood? Like maybe Silver Springs, Maryland. Maybe there's a couple places in Atlanta. But generally, like, I'd be a little bit suspicious unless they were all saints. So I think that we agree that there's necessary reform in black culture. Do the crime statistics tell the whole story? No. And I'll tell you another reason why. You had enslavement in the United States. Following enslavement, blacks were supposed to get 40 acres and a mule and much else. They get all of nothing, which is why they're behind everybody. You might understand that there's generally some kind of connection between poverty and crime. Would you agree?
Sure, I could say.
Yeah, poverty and crime. Rich people don't steal is what I'm saying. I'm saying rich people don't steal.
Well, I
middle
wouldn't
class
say
people
that
don't have.
because I mean, rich people, I'm sure, do all sorts of unethical things to pull
Precisely.
the middle class. So I wouldn't say that. It's just.
But you
they
get
know
the
how to mask it
hyperbole.
better.
You get the
Yes.
hyperbole, which is to say, rich people don't need to steal, right? I'm being pithy and making a quick point, which is to say that if you're hungry and you have no money, then you might steal a sandwich. If you're rich and hungry and you have money, you might just buy a sandwich. So what I'm suggesting is that generally speaking, you'll find a negative correlation between wealth, income, and crime, especially certain types of crime. Now, which is not to say because you're poor, you must steal, or because you're wealthy, you mustn't commit crimes. That being said, the black people in America hold a unique position in as much as they've been here longer than anyone, literally, unless you're talking about the Native Americans. And you find that the populations that were here the longest are doing the poorest because they were systematically destroyed, one by genocide, the other one by the Mayafa and enslavement and systematic denial of education. And while denying the black people in America education, you removed the education and you put in, you enforce the ignorance, which still ails many of them today. That being said, when foreigners come to America, they get many benefits, and we've seen this. This is even occurring today in the United Kingdom. It occurred today in the Biden administration. People come through the southern border, gets all kind of free stuff. Now, that being the case, you have blacks as the lowest income in America, aside from the Native Americans. So there's one reason that they're generally going to be more criminally inclined. Furthermore, being black itself was a crime at a point. Did you know that being black itself was a crime? Like if you go drink water and you're black, it's a crime. But if you go drink water at a water fountain and you're white, it's not a crime. So then you would have to concede that being black itself was the crime. Correct or incorrect?
I mean, as far as I can remember, especially with what I was taught when I was in school, wasn't it like if you drink out of the wrong fountain, that's a crime? But if you drink out
let me
of one
help
that
you.
says
Let me
color-
help you. So say there's a water fountain called coloreds and there's a water fountain called whites, right? If you're white and you drink out the white water fountain, do you go to jail?
No,
No. If you're white and you drink at the colored water fountain, do you go to jail?
probably not.
Of course not. You might be frowned upon, like, damn, why are you drinking where the darkies drink? Now, if you're black and you drink at the colored water fountain, do you go to jail?
No,
No, because drinking at a water fountain is not a crime. If you're black and you drink at the white water fountain, do you go to jail?
yeah, in some states, I'm sure, like some southern
Yes.
states especially.
Right. So the
Was
answer
it
is
like
yes.
that in
So
the north?
so the crime itself is being black. It's not drinking at the water fountain, it's being black. So being black itself has been a crime in the United States of America. So you have, and that's not old. That's during my grandmother's time, right? That's recent history. That was when my mother was born. This was happening. So this is recent history.
All right.
The American policing force was created by what was called the slave patrols. Before we had police, we had the slave patrols. That's what evolved into the modern policing force. There are white and Jewish scholars who have written books about this. Anyways, that being the case, that the American government penal and legal system was organized against black people when enslavement ended, which is to say formal slavery, so to speak. They replaced the labor, the cheap labor, with enslaved labor in prisons. That's why you have such a high population of the same people who were the slaves before. If you look at Angola, you look at prisons in Louisiana today, they still have an overseer sitting on a horse, and you have blacks picking cotton by hand, which is the same thing they did many, many years ago. Now, I say all that to say this. The poverty definitely going to influence the data on blacks and crime. That's number one. Number two, the history, removing education systematically and enforcing ignorance systematically. That's going to create a problematic group of people. And then thirdly, when you look at the crime data, it's inflated because you have the confounding force of white racism, which has been documented by blacks and white scholars. And Dr. Renford Reese, the book called Prison Race, is a great reference point. I recommend you guys go to amazon.com/shop, SHOP/the Saint and the Sinner spelled out. A lot of reference works for you guys there. So that explains the different treatment. Now, you're basically saying, hey, Marquette, blacks seem to commit more crimes. Do they? We can't be certain from the data in terms of if they commit more crimes. I'll tell you why. The highest percentage of people who are exonerated, meaning were falsely accused, and you used murders earlier, were falsely accused of murder. Who's mostly falsely accused of murder and getting freed? Is it Asians? Is it Arabs? Is it Latinos? Is it whites? Is it blacks? Who's the biggest group that has suffered false accusal based on the data from the government? What group is that?
Pretty sure it could be blacks, you know?
It's blacks. So if the data says that they're being exonerated at the highest rates, that would also mean that they're being falsely accused at the highest rates. So if they're being falsely accused, that would let you know that the data is inflated. And then you'd have to ask, well, why is that? Why are they being falsely arrested and falsely accused? Well, then you'd have to look to the white supremacists who are not always black. Who are not always white. Sometimes they're black, sometimes they're Asian, sometimes they're Latino, sometimes they're Arab, sometimes they're fill in the blank. So the fact of the matter is that there are some peculiar things with the system, but I think one place we can agree is this. We can agree that black culture needs to be fixed. I actually think all of the cultures need to be fixed, and we're seeing a major decline, unless you're in, say, China. They're doing well. I think Russia is doing reasonably well. I like what I see in certain places like Latvia, Poland. They seem like reasonable people. I like what I see in Ethiopia, Rwanda, Botswana. But most other places, they need to be fixed. So I think we can agree that the culture needs to be fixed. But what I'm saying is that the persons like Charlie Kirk, they cook the data, they speak to the parts that verify their racist leanings, and they never speak to the truth. So he's well, blacks have the highest rate of conviction. We also have the highest rate of exoneration. Why don't you speak about that? Don't you think that's an important part to include?
I mean, I wasn't aware of that part, so yeah, I guess you could say that's important to include. You know,
But what you have to be concerned about is like, damn, why wasn't I aware of that? It's because Charlie Kirk, the Red Pillars, all the Nerd Fuentes, they keep on emphasizing one point. So it's like, why are they showing you half of the picture instead of the full picture? And that's how you know they're racist. It's because I can agree, like if you're like, hey, this is the data, I'm like, damn, that data is messed up. It is what it is. But also let's consider all of it, not so that we can make things seem better than they are or worse, just so that we know the truth.
Right, I could totally respect that, and I understand that. Let's see. Now that said, well, the last thing that I would like to ask you about is this. But when one goes on the news, when one usually goes out in person and sees something happen, especially in a usually mixed area, or sees videos online or whatever of a situation going on, or an extreme, hostile conflict or whatever between people, almost, right? Not every single time, but almost every single time in any of these circumstances, the people in it always happen to be black, or always happen to be like somewhat, or even if they're in the right, usually escalated very quickly. So even if the other person is in the wrong and it's clear that they're in the wrong, so many of them are seen to be so, just quick to want to escalate the situation to something it doesn't need to be, that at that point, at least a good part of the situation is their foe, whether it's verbally, whether it's physical violence, whether, all sorts of stuff like that. And so now, based on that, along with everything you just said, is it really like biased or bigoted or this or that in that regard? If one sees that and intuitively, regardless of the factors that you described, knows that this is most likely to be the outcome, and therefore decides to try to keep themselves away, or to maybe not want to be around or associated with a certain group majority of the time,
So
you know what I'm trying to
that
say?
was a
For
bit
their
long.
sake.
That was a bit long, but I'll tell you this,
for
just
their
with
sake,
regards
though.
to the last piece of what you said. Everyone has their right to their preference. Some people, you have a preference for sleeping with certain types of people. You have a preference for spending free time with certain types of folks, whether it's based on their content of their character or the color of their skin. That's not illegal. And in as much as that's the case, people already do that. So, that's not a new thing. I just find it strange that you have people who want to market the idea of separation and segregation because it's already occurring in practice. There's something called white flight. There are things called redlining. And these are age-old things in the United States. We're already a segregated society, mostly based on class, but in addition, based on color and race. And I think that's fine, frankly. I don't think anyone has to mix at all. And frankly, I was never a fan of Martin Luther King's ideology or his work. I think that Black Americans were integrated into a burning house, but B, they were integrated too early. They were underdeveloped because you're dealing with a people who came out of recent enslavement, a people who were undereducated, and then they said we're equal. Like, bro, that's a lie. Like, please knock it off. You're not equal financially, you're not equal educationally, you're not equal experientially, you're not equal in any of the major ways that one would want to be equal, unless you're talking about we're all children of God. Like, yeah, and as much as that's the case, maybe, but everything else, like, hell no, y'all are not equal. So when we force you, especially in a way that minoritizes you further, we integrate the schools and we integrate the neighborhoods forcibly, it's something that is more detrimental than it is good. And the data indicates that under segregation, blacks had a higher per capita income. And I find that to be very believable. And I believe that the black masses needed more time to develop. Now, certainly there are outliers who are particularly gifted, like maybe you might have a W.E.B. Du Bois, who's very bourgeois, or you have a Frederick Douglass or a Booker T. Washington, people who are particularly gifted, but that's not the average person. And in as much as that's the case, I think blacks would have probably benefited as a whole to have spent more time among themselves to develop, such that when they integrated, they would be more apt or more honest in making the claim of equality. So I think that integration forcibly was a bad idea. I think the white supremacists today who speak of separation, they do so largely from a base of hatred. And then with regards to some of the things you mentioned earlier about the way people are portrayed in the media, there's extraordinary amount of data on the fact that the media is very dishonest, and they're actually incentivized to do so based on human nature. So for example, with the white Ukrainian girl who was killed by some psychotic, mentally ill person, the same week there was and somebody in the chat send me the link for this if you would be so kind. There was an opposite situation where a black person was killed by a white person in a random attack, murdered, but it got no news coverage. So you have to realize that if 60% of the population is white, the news and business in general is going to cater to the majority. In America, we have a democracy. It's called a majority rule system. And as much as that's the case, they're going to play the music, they're going to play the news clippings, whatever is going to appeal most to the majority. And certainly that's going to be things that verify the narrative. So always we know that journalism news is fraudulent. I mean, we've known that for a long time. It's called propaganda. So intelligent and educated people never take the news as a source. That's not a scientific study. And people like Charlie Kirk are not academics. That's the problem, is we listen to them like they're academicians when really they're just random dumb fucks.
Right, I can agree, and that was really it. As those were really the only two things that I was really interested in, being better informed on. And I want to say, thanks for the talk. I'll look into that stuff a lot more.
Nah, bro, don't look into it. It's not even a good use of time, to be honest with you. Even if you were black, it's not a good use of time. The better use of time is, what are we going to do, right? Like, I don't perceive that you're a racist person. I perceive that you seem like someone who's not black and probably has some curiosity, like, why are these people doing this stuff? Like, I get that, man. And it also, not being black, I probably wouldn't opt to live around black people if I wasn't black. I mean, that just seems weird. Like, why would you do that? Just as if, like, I'm not Chinese. I don't want to move into a Chinese neighborhood. You hear me? Like, I don't want to move into any neighborhood that's an ethnic enclave that's not my ethnicity. That's weird as hell. So I wouldn't use any time to research what's going on with black people. Who cares? You hear me? Like, how do we get this bag? And more importantly, how do we make all of the peoples of the earth better? And how do we establish leadership from good people? I think that's the greater effort right now. And then just making sure that we can marginalize and minimize the efforts of wicked men who don't have any good aims. Like, the problem with the Charlie Kirk is not so much what he said about black people. It's the fact that, did you ever help black people? Like, you have so much criticism. Did you ever help them? Like, for example, if you ask me, like, hey, Marquette, like, you're critical of Latinos, which I don't know that I've ever taken out time to be critical of Latinos, but, like, let's just say I was, for example, and then you say, well, have you ever helped Latinos? I'm like, well, actually, yes, I have. I was a part of an organization called YPI. I used to run a program in Los Angeles, and all of the services that we gave were for Spanish speakers, not people who are bilingual, but people who are only Spanish speakers. So pretty much everyone was Latino.
Wait, did you tell me that part? What was it called again? That last part you just said?
YPI, Youth Policy
YPI?
Institute.
Youth Policy Institute.
Yeah. But the point is that it's one thing to criticize the people. It's a radically different thing to actually help them. And if you criticize them and help them, then you care. If you criticize them and don't help them, it's like, it sounds like you're just kicking them while they're down. And I think that people have to be more genuine, and we lack a lot of genuine leaders. We have too many preachers and too many talkers.
Right, I can understand what you're saying, and yeah, that's totally true. Like, if you're gonna criticize someone or some people, also at the very least, like, throw them a bone too, like help them out. maybe whether it's invest in a certain, like school or store, whatever it is, or housing or whatever, or spread awareness to do so, or whatever the case may be. But yes, I think, you're absolutely right. It's like, don't be for lack of a better term, don't be half-assed with it. Go all the way.
And it's like, don't be a hater too, right? Like, for example, there's certain groups of people that I just like, I don't care about at all. And being that I don't care about them, I don't mention them, I don't degrade them, I don't talk about them, I don't try to lift them up because it has nothing to do with me. Like, for example, like there's a drinking problem among Afghans in Canada. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't, like, respectfully, I don't discuss Afghans in Canada because I'm not Canadian, I'm not Afghan, and drinking is bad. But if they drink themselves to death, what does that have to do with me? So it's just like, I ignore it because it's unrelated. And so what we have to figure out is like, why is it that you have the Nerd Fuentes, the Charlie Kirk, these white supremacists, like, what is their obsession with black people? It's kind of weird because they're only 12% of the population, number one. And number two, blacks live among blacks. They don't live among these wealthy white commentators. So it's like, why are they acting like their lives are affected by what black people do? The government, overwhelmingly white, and it has been forever. So why are they so obsessed with blacks?
Right. That I agree. Yeah. Anything else? Right.
No, sir. It's been a pleasure to meet you. I appreciate you coming on, being reasonable and sharing a perspective.
Right, you too. Right, thank you so much. Thanks for having me on, sir. Peace out.
Peace of the saints. My brother. What's going on, man?
What you doing, my brother?
Listen, bro. I damn near hope that you got a lecture for the people because I need a bathroom break. Do you have something that I need to go back and forth with you on right now, or I can hit this bathroom break real quick?
You can hit the bathroom break.
All right.
I got you.
I'm gonna mess around and I'm gonna maximize your ass right now. I would just pull me out.
All right, for sure.
By the way, tell people where you got that fire shirt, that beat up Sim shirt, super fire, my boy.
Oh yeah. Is it assassinbrand.com?
SASNbrand.com. Log in, boss up. I'll be right back. Let me see if I can maximize you real quick.
Okay, for sure. Yeah. When it comes to the Charlie Kirk thing, what I find really interesting is, gosh, talking to somebody recently, they were saying, oh yeah, the guy who did it, he was a conservative. This was a person of American white. I don't want to say descent. I don't really know what to call it, but they were American and white. And I find it rather interesting that every time these things happen, it's blame it on this group or blame it on that group instead of the actual just grouping of America in general. It's like they can't just say like, hey, this is American white culture because, America's culture is predominantly white in my eyes. So I'm just like, that's kind of strange how, you guys like divide yourself into political parties, but you're still culturally white. And ironically, you create the problem on the other side, which is actually more a cultural issue than it is an identity issue. So these people are still coming from your households, your enclaves, your groups, your culture. So all this happening. Then I had sat back and I said, man, this guy is famous for being a commentator, like a debater. And when I think debate, all I think is like I've arrived and I've showed up to not change my mind about anything, at least from the colloquial sense of today. A lot of people, they're not trying to change their mind. So I'm like, this guy is famous for debating college students and not coming with an open mind to hear a different perspective, but to shut people down from their perspective if they give an opinion and not to hear any validating points in what they're saying, because even a broken clock is right twice a day. So in my mind, I'm like, that's oddly strange how these are the celebrities of today. And it sent such shockwaves that even the president would respond to it and they treat him like an American hero. I seen this man, I seen Charlie Kirk put right next to, I was on Facebook scrolling down. I was like, did they just put this man next to Martin Luther King? They had a picture of him and Martin Luther King, and I was like, that is so strange. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. But my first thing I kind of had said was, oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, yeah. One of the things I was having a talk with a lady, she asked me about my opinion about it. about homie getting shot, and I was like, it's interesting because yeah. I was like, it's just fascinating to me because when she started the state was he was a conservative. He came from a conservative background. His family had him playing with guns at an early age. And so she was telling me all the background, and she was like, that's why I'm not conservative anymore. But I was like, hey, this is more so a white American issue, this whole thing in general, this entire thing. Because whether you be conservative or liberal, this is coming from y'all households and y'all family members that has nothing to do. And this guy is popular for what? Debating? Like he shows up. Like when I think about debate in the colloquial sense of today, it's I show up to not change my mind and to not hear your perspective. Because
Correct.
even a broken clock is right twice a day. So his fame and celebrity reflects the society of today. Everyone's just debating each other on some nerd stuff, talking about like data analytics. Somebody did Martin Luther King need analytics in order to get change done? Did Abraham Lincoln need analytics in order to get change done? Anybody who's great did not need analytics. You've seen with your own two eyes. So, and also when it comes to data, the irony is this stuff doesn't come out until a year later. You know what I mean? Like you don't get 2020, you don't get
Oh, you're saying the data's
2024.
it's not current.
It's off. Like Warren Buffett ain't looking at data to figure out what y'all about to do next. You know what I mean? like so the real hustlers out here, everybody's out here living life, and that's how you see where the people are moving. And everyone's so concerned about living life vicariously through the screen 24/7. So when homie got shot, I was like, that had nothing to do. I feel like that had nothing to do with black
I
folks
agree.
at all. And on top of that, especially for a dude who was talking about black on black crime, I'm like, dude, like look at the historical pattern. Y'all shut yourselves down repeatedly. It has black people have nothing to do with that at all. Y'all, Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King, now you, almost the president, the current president as of today. I'm like, it's a consistent pattern. This is an American white issue.
Oh, you're saying like the assassination type of stuff.
Yes,
Like
that is
the
like
shooters, them kind of shooters.
They're their own biggest enemies of freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough. And I don't even think freedom of speech is the big issue. I appreciate you taking the show in my absence. Let me see if I can get a couple more folks on here. You got any closing words?
Yeah, be ready for Burden Plantation episode 2. Y'all. We might have to put Charlie Kirk in there. All right.
Hey, you know what? Genius. He's in there. On me. Until next time, I'll see you soon, my brother. Be well. Peace to the saints.
All right, man. Peace to the saints.
Okay, let's get these folks in here real quick.
Oh, peace. Oh my God. Peace to the saints. Words, man, don't even compare to where I'm at now to where I was a couple months ago just because of Marquette. A couple months ago, I was a white supremacist in a black skin. As of today, I don't know his name, but I know he's a big part of your movement. Who just got off, man. You guys just keep doing what you're doing, Marquette. I'm about to go donate $10. You see, I'm driving, got the refrigeration. I'm about to go donate. We need that Burden Plantation ASAP because it's just crazy how freedom of speech is not freedom of speech, and it's like they're teaching you it's freedom of speech, all right, but they're teaching you this negligence. They're just teaching you wrong ideology. And it's very funny how he just brought that up. I never thought of it like that. You have more white on white crime. You have more white assassins. I've never seen a black shooter. But we're the problem. Oh my God, man. Words can't explain, Marco. I just really, really appreciate you for the knowledge. Thank you for bringing the knowledge to me that Christianity was taught to us by our slave master. Oh my God. Like, I just really, really take my hat off to you and keep doing what you do.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
I appreciate
Have
you.
a good day.
You too. Peace to the saints.
Yes, sir. Peace to the saints. Donate.
That's a beautiful thing. I agree. We have to get the training and event center up and running. I do believe there's a link in the description if you want to donate to it. And that's a true donation, meaning that you're giving to something that doesn't benefit you directly. So it will be the hub of revolution. It will be the hub of training and reconditioning all of us for success and happiness. There'll be so many things run out of there, whether it's midwives coming in to talk to the women, talk to them about reproductive health, not reproductive death, birth control, things like that, but reproductive health. It'll be a place for training up our young men, a finishing school for the women, a place to teach the young men refinement and entrepreneurship, and all of us, from the youngsters to the elders. Anyways, let me go ahead and catch up real quick on the folks who are supporting the work. May I acknowledge Alpha Music writes, peace to the saints. Shout out to the big homie, as always. I have to say this, Gene. I'm about sick of your nonsense. Get on camera or shut up. Damn. G, right back at it. Look at G. By your own logic and goals, whites and even some blacks wouldn't be in the wrong for deleting you based on the things you've said about them. To disagree with that is to be a hypocrite. Gene, a different kind of nigga, boy. Shout out to Gene, nut ass. Anyways, may I acknowledge, Alan writes, blacks are also less likely to receive due process. Oh, you ain't never lied. We're more likely to be convicted of a crime which isn't synonymous with actual guilt. Oh, absolutely. And that's 1,000% why I always say that innocent or not, I'd probably rather run. The courts are just so diabolically unfair to all people, especially if you don't have any money. But sometimes, even if you have money, you're screwed, especially if you're black. So the criminal justice system in the United States of America is just extraordinarily bad. It's a joke, honestly. It's a bad, long, sad joke. Anyways, may I acknowledge, not Gene again. This ball, Gene's a nut. Gene writes, you call for revolution, call whites evil. Bro, I don't call whites evil. I call white supremacists evil. Pay attention, boy. Pay attention. He writes, you call whites evil, condone Kirk's deletion, and you have some sort of organization. His allies, who include the president, could view you as someone whose existence could be a threat to society. Your logic to society? You're talking about the guy who says don't drink. We see that drunk driving is against the law. So I say don't drink at all, which would only bolster what the government is trying to do. Okay, don't drink. I encourage people to be responsible. I encourage capitalism. This is a capitalist society. I don't know what you're talking about, little buddy. But I'd know better if you just come on. Just come on down. Have a conversation just like everyone else. Come on down. He writes, and to all the low IQ people that say Saints talks about solutions, so did Hitler. Gosh, not you comparing a black guy to HI to the T-ler. He writes, as a matter of fact, you both have similar solutions. Like I said, hypocrisy. Did the ball just call me a German nationalist? The ball is insane. The ball just called me a German nationalist. Shout out to Theodore. He writes, just paying what I owe. Thank you for all the factual knowledge. Peace and things. And guys, Gene is one of my stans. Gene is a stan. He's a hater. He's a sick person. He's a truly sick person. But he's one of those people. It's like a toxic relationship where, it's bad, but you just can't get out of it. And Gene is one of them frenemies. You ever have a friend that's really your enemy, but it's like for some reason, like, bro, like just keeps coming around just to do you dirt. It's like, damn, bro, get a life, my nil. Gene is a real nutty buddy, man. Gene is a nutty buddy. He said, Gene, you're a sick extremist. I'm trying to tell you, man. Gene got problems for real. And I invite Gene over to just like, let's have a civil conversation. Let's get this all off your chest. And Gene just won't come on down. Shout out to Ruben. He writes, peace to the saints. Saint, please look at Trump's recent address about Kirk's death on the White House on YouTube. Very much so looks like AI. Not sure I'm tripping or not. I see no one speaking about it, although it looks blatantly fake in my opinion. More blessings to all the saints. It would be a great time savings if it was AI, right? It would be very strategic. So I'll take a look. Let me see. And just again, it's like why Trump has time for all of this is insane. Like the fact that Israel just bombed your ally and you're not defending your ally and you're condoning this violation of international law. It's like, shouldn't that be your focus, little buddy? So let's see, Trump, Charlie Kirk. And I also want to note for everyone, it's like really, they got the bad guy really quickly. Let's see. Let's see what the Donald has to. Okay, so maybe this is the one you're talking about. This one is from a day ago, but I think there would have had to have been a new one. So here's
Yesterday, you.
Okay, dang, this ball's on. This nigga got hella time. Listen. This boy Trump got so much time on his hands. He need another job. Trump need a second job because this man has too much time.
We're at the 9/11 memorial. We were all watching that. And
Yeah.
JD Vance was supposed to be with you. He went out.
And we all don't get sued and everything else, but I think police, the government, I think that
I like how they threw the random black guy on there. Like, hey, black guy, you gotta go beyond this one because we don't want to be accused of being white supremacists. Get in there, black guy. Toby, hurry up.
I don't want to go too far. I'd like to tell you some stories that how it happened, but essentially somebody that was very close to him turned him in. And that happens when you had some of those good shots. Somebody is going to say, whether it's talk about that. We had very good pictures, but not great. And to see this somebody that was very close to him said, but who's it? And or they always have breaking news, Ainsley.
Right.
Sean's going to be very disappointed that we're not doing it on his show.
He'll be very thankful.
Vacation, so turn them in. Well, it was a minister, and the minister went to friend is a.
I don't think you're talking about that one, but you didn't send the link, so we're going to let that be what it is. And I appreciate you sharing that. Let's see what else folks are talking about. And by the way, shout out to Keon, who just went on sasnbrand.com, sasnbrand.com. He got a packable jacket. Those are phenomenal. I love to take those on the airplane because airplanes are always cold and they're packable, so they're easy to roll up and just pop it into your briefcase. So got your backpack briefcase at mdblabel.com. That's what I take as my carry-on. Actually, as my personal item, I put it under the front seat. And then that packable jacket is stylish and easy to pack away. May I acknowledge, I think we are... shout to Portia. Writes, peace to the saints. Mohammed, age does not mean wisdom if you're living the same way on repeat. Bruh, talk about it. I also acknowledge Willie. He writes, peace to the saints, tuition for the big homie. These weird rascals really crawling out the cubby holes today. Keep blessing them with ism. They really need it, bro. You ain't never lied. Shout out to Donovan, writes, for the enlightenment, peace of the saints. Yes, sir. Alvin writes, to this young brother, I think he's talking about the young black kid, Toby, who really, who looks exactly like my little brother, come on live for the second time, ill-equipped, is sad. Join the Sassin UK section. We'll get your mind right. Peace of Saints indeed. Sassin UK. Highly recommend it. And the young ball needs it. Shout out to Wayne. He writes, everybody wants you to speak on Myron. They don't understand how loyal you are. Show love to those who show love to you. You know, the funny thing is it's the people who don't really, they're not even friends of mine, but they want to break my friendships, right? They're not even my friend. Like they don't super chat. They're not members. They just want drama. These are people seeking drama. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Shout out to Wayne. I appreciate you. I also acknowledge Alvin. He writes, as the day goes by, more people become familiar with our ways. To see so many people come on speaking without aim is a reminder how much our movement is needed. Loneliness is a hell of a drug, bro. I'm trying to tell you. That was hashtag Sassin or nothing. That was Mohammed off rip. Shout out to Devin. He writes, support. Thank you for the game you give. And it's crazy. I know Mohammed be watching everybody's live. He ain't even come on with love. Bro came with pure hatred. That was insane. Like, nigga, I've been watching you for 2 months. I hate you. I hate you. Always talking about how you're successful. Like, bro, like, do I even talk? Like, you're crazy. It's like they don't tune in to the meaningful videos that I do. I recently did a video entitled The Selfish Reasons Not to Verbally Abuse Your Woman. And I give you guys some great game on how to maintain your romantic relationship and romantic affairs in your household. I have a video about teaching your children how to communicate to you about potential abuse and prevent abuse. I have a video on why Mr. Rogers is important in American society. So many pieces of great game. And you can tell a hater because they come on and they want to try their best to try to pick out something that can make them feel better about the low state they live in. Shout out to Mr. Cofield. He writes, peace of the saints. I see Chef Boy Arquette got the hibachi on a thou wow today. Keep frying these feeble minnows, sir. Bruh, I can't help it. Portia came back. He writes, peace to the saints. Gene, jump on stream. We all know Gene ain't doing it. He must be a weirdo. Shout out to Darius. He writes, peace to the saints. Appreciate your work as always. Which book best explores Black identity, history, and the significance of melanin? Not trying to be lost out here, Saint. Well, you know what? The truth is that any one of those things you mentioned could be a number of books. Very few would be able to address all of those things. So you need more specificity. I recommend you check out Amazon.com/shop, SHOP/The Saint and the Sinner spelled out. There's some great works there that'll get you started. May I acknowledge Tony. He writes, supporting your endeavors, Marquette. I always appreciate your breakdowns. Without your critical lens, my mind might drift into the narrative. Thank you deeply. Oh, absolutely. I appreciate you. And shout out to those who are willing to consider the truth. There's a great many people who won't even consider. Oh, yeah. I just remembered. I want to, and I'm going to post this on the community tab. As you guys have heard me speak of for a long time, the only value on earth is the earth. All value comes out of the earth. Diamonds, coltan, uranium, farming, food, all of it. If you don't own some earth, you're kind of making a mistake. And also it's natural for human beings to live in tribes, which is to say among people that you know, love, and respect. It definitely minimizes crime. For example, Burton Plantation, I bought it because it has a lot of land. And I now have gotten around to subdividing the land into 1 acre plots, which is plenty of land. Those of you who've been to my place in Atlanta, big house, it was on 0.2 acres, 0.2. So I'm allocating an acre for each person, which will be like your private land. And then you'll obviously have access to the whole of the land, which is 60 something acres, which we can all use for various things, whether it's running, gardening, what have you. But anyways, so the plots, and I forget exactly. Okay. The plots were 1 acre, 30,000. So I'm going to post on the community tab. If you'd like to buy a plot, engage me and we'll get everything set up for you. There won't be plots for everyone, obviously. So it'll be a first come, first serve basis, but you must be approved, which is to say we're not accepting everyone's money. So you will request, hey, I'd like one of those plots. I have the money. We'll figure out who you are. If we're already familiar with you, you're good to go. If you're a confirmed saint, you're good to go. Say no more. But otherwise, we'll figure out who you are and then figure out if we're willing to sell you the plot of land. And so we'll have a number of plots, 1 acre each, and it'll be a great time. And some of you may have it as a primary home. Some might have it as a secondary home, but it'll be a great opportunity for you to be connected to some earth that you can have forever, a place that you can call home, your homeland. And we'll have chickens there. We'll have fruits and vegetables, and you'll have your own plot to do as you please. Anyways, and true to my word, you guys have heard me talking about this for some time. So here it is. May I acknowledge Ruben came in by Venmo. He writes, this is the link for the Trump AI video. Okay, so this is actually from the White House YouTube. So this does appear to be official. Whether it's real is a different story. In terms of being official, it appears to be official. So let's see.
Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot.
I tend to think this is probably real in as much as his eyes are a bit squinted, and you can tell that he's reading from his iris. So, so far, I think that it's real. Let's carry on.
Who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country.
Is open debate a cause? Like, I honestly don't think that is a cause. Open debate. I'm familiar with causes like, stopping the death of the children and women in Gaza. That's a cause. Civil rights. That's a cause. Creating conventions on war so that people don't use mustard gas or depleted, that's a cause. Open debate is a cause. I don't think that's an actual cause, but that's fine. Carrying on.
That he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people.
This is what disgusts me about the white supremacists is they use these abstractions to control and destroy this concept of liberty. Like, word, are any of us free, whites included? Are any of us free? Please stop it. We saw what happened during COVID. We see that if you don't have a passport, they won't even let you out of the country, which means that you're in a large prison unless you comply. So please stop it. And then democracy, he fought for democracy. That's fascinating. Who doesn't have democracy in America?
He's a martyr for truth and freedom.
And bro's a martyr.
And there's never been anyone.
He's a martyr. Allahu Akbar.
Who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith.
Deep.
And we take comfort in
Very
the
deep.
knowledge that
it was deep, very deep.
He is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are and God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain.
I mean, it could be AI. It seems pretty boring and lifeless, like a lack of personality, which is the trademark, the hallmark of AI. It could be AI. And of course, government would have much better AI than you and I, which is to say commercial grade or consumer usage. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. And it's just like he's saying threadbare like phrases that you could probably apply to anybody on YouTube who's in the the manosphere red pill space, which I'm in neither of them. I saw one moron. So, Marquette does red pill content. I'm like, word? That's funny because literally since I started, I remember the first time someone says, are you RP? And I was like, RP, what's that? And then they explained, I was like, hell nah, bro. Like, is this ism? I'm just kicking this ism. That's it, buddy. Buddy, that's all, folks. Solomon.
Oh, hello. Hey, Marquette, how you doing?
I'm all right. How you feel, man?
Peace to the saints. Due to the situation with the Charlie Kirk, I've been talking with my friends because before he got shot in the neck, he was talking about gun violence, right?
He was, apparently.
And a lot of the things that me and my friends were talking about is when the government asked for us to give our guns away.
Mm-hmm.
And the main reason why the Second Amendment was enacted was so that, when the government it goes against the people, we have a way to defend ourselves, right? So I just want to get your take on that.
On what part?
About why would people think it's a good idea for us to give our only tool of self-defense, against tyranny?
Well, this is an age-old argument in the United States. And I don't think that a conservative administration would be the one to take away people's guns. There have been a lot of attempts, even during Obama's administration. I remember I loaded up on ammunition because they were basically creating regulations to limit ammunition. So when they figured out they couldn't quite take your guns, they figured, okay, well, we'll take all the ammunition so that you can't use your guns. But it's always going to be a situation wherein it's claimed that these guns will protect us from tyranny, but we're in fact already under tyranny, number one. And number two, the greatest tool is not the gun, it's the lie. The greatest weakness is not the lack of a gun, it's a lack of knowledge. And then it's a lack of masculinity to do what is necessary. So I think we're already in disrepair, not realizing that we seek freedom and liberty, but we're enslaved to this device and we carry it with us constantly. And it's watching us, it's listening to us, and it also is running data that is making us predictable so that we can be controlled. You can be controlled when you are predictable. And so I don't think that the guns are the biggest issue, but would I rather have them than not have them? Absolutely. And I wouldn't give mine back. I'd rather shoot it out with no comment.
Nah, I wholeheartedly agree with you. Like,
yeah. Yes, indeed. I appreciate you coming on. You got anything else for us?
Oh yeah, I have another thing. I hear you talk about Ethiopia a lot, and I've seen that you've traveled there a couple of times. I just want to know, like, is there any a time or instance that you've ever experienced over there that you enjoyed the most?
Oh, the Ethiopian people are, number one, the treasure of Ethiopia are the women. They are utterly gorgeous and feminine, just from a visual standpoint, and you can find them from blue black all the way to as light as you like them. They are a true treasure. I also like Dorowat. The food is good. The customs are reasonable. They maintain their culture. So it's a very relaxed place. It's quite a sad place in as much as the Chinese have largely infiltrated The president doesn't have true control over their economy. They have an ongoing war with Eritrea, which is basically the same blood, if
It's
we're being
basically part
honest.
of them. Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. So you have ongoing war, significant amounts of poverty, and more importantly, the government is incompetent in terms of inviting in investment strategically. So the Chinese come over and basically dominate. Then they fail to allow in like reasonable investors, people who are not dangerous, like me, for example, like an individual. They'll let the Chinese government come in, but they won't let individuals come in. They're just now allowing for investment into their real estate market, which is unfortunate because what it's going to do is just drive up real estate prices. And the irony is that real estate prices in Addis Ababa were already unreasonable.
Yeah.
Now they're about to become skyrocketed, and they're going to be measuring out the real estate in dollars, just like you might find it in Ghana and Kenya and places like that, because it's expensive. So I think that it's ultimately a disservice. And just the fact that the Ethiopian president, if you ask like 10 people who he is, like no one knows. If you showed his picture, no one knows. Whereas the Rwandan president, it's a small country of 14 million. He's very well known. And I think that really speaks to the level of efficacy in him being able to like push the country into the future. Now, granted, Ethiopia is much bigger than Rwanda, but they're both in East Africa and they both can be real players. Ethiopia even more so. I understand the war with Eritrea. It makes sense because you need access to water to really be a regional power to engage in trade. And it's expensive for Ethiopia maybe to run goods through Djibouti or some other place. But frankly, to see Eritrea and Ethiopia in protracted war is sad because one, they're the same race. You know, it's the same concept as like Indians and Pakistanis. It's like y'all are basically the same. North Koreans, South Koreans, y'all are basically the same. Like let's be real. People who from the outside can't tell y'all apart. But you have to have one of those powers, and I'm shocked that the Eritreans have been so strong, frankly. But because they're a smaller country. You need one of those powers to be significantly stronger to basically be able to eradicate the other one and take over the government and then make the country whole again. Because the Ethiopians are much bigger, stronger population. The Eritreans have all the access to the coastline, Asmara, beaches, sea lanes. It's just like, I understand why Ethiopia is trying to take them over. But anyways, it's a lovely place, which I visited many times, and I will be going back.
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely. Peace to the Saints.
Peace to the Saints.
Okay. Looks like we're caught up there. May I also acknowledge Jeff writes, it's the same in Liverpool, UK, brother. No money, you going to jail and going equipped with a black face, and boy, you going to jail. Also acknowledge Michael. He writes, if your son murked Nick Fuentes and the FBI was looking for him, would you turn? Bro, listen, man. Shout out to Ulysses writes, appreciate all the knowledge and game. Hit 3 years sober. Wish you the best. Stay healthy and wealthy. That's a beautiful thing. And shout out to the gentleman, 3 years sober. That's a big deal because to change behavior is very difficult, especially with an addictive substance, which alcohol is. So that's a beautiful thing. I love to hear news like that. That really brightens my day. I acknowledge Mentuition writes, Johnny Marquest got the Sim Salabim Hadi head wrap on today. Peace of the Saints. Shout out to Mentuition, man. I acknowledge Solo Dolo writes, peace of the Saints. God bless the big homie. Hey, listen, the funny thing is that only the OG fans know that my headwear game is insane. You hear me? Like if you go back 5 years, Saint in the Center, you see me wearing like hats. My hat game been crazy. You hear me? It's the new people that don't know. If you've been rocking with me for a long time, you know my African dictator hat game is insane. Gene writes, judging by your countless contradictions and hypocrisy, like bro is literally mentally ill. You shouldn't be taken seriously. Bro's on here every live session and super chatting, talking about I shouldn't be taken seriously. Only a fool who's looking for a father figure can't see that. I've already debunked most of your claims, even though I'm scared to come on and talk about it like a man. Because I didn't have a father and I don't feel manly enough. So I'm going to just keep super chatting, nigga. Bro is a nut. Lex writes, thanks for the truth, sir. I've unsubscribed from 6 black content creators today because of the bootlicking. Peace to this. Bro, I'm telling you, you're a wise man. You don't want your brain poisoned. Shout out to Don. He writes, people like Kirk, Musk, don't forget that one, right? Trump, Throw that in there. Fuentes, normalize racist talking points. Next step is normalizing discrimination, lynchings, sterilization. Unfortunately, too many blacks are short-sighted and soft, bro. You ain't never lied. That was what Toby was on. And that's why, I just had to keep it a bean out you. May I acknowledge Nomad writes, greetings, Marquette, greetings. It's like how aliens, when aliens show up to Earth, like, greetings, Earthling. He writes, Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam. He writes, do you think we will end Zionism in our time? And who of the political leaders makes sense to you right now? Very good question. I think we can all acknowledge the brother in the Francophone country, Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore. I think that he is a real favorite right now, and I'd like to see him continue to live, which has been a great challenge of many a black nationalist. So he is impressive because he's doing the hard work for his country. He's not worried about every other country. Like, for example, the Donald is worried about Israel instead of America. So he's doing a great job. Xi Jinping is doing a phenomenal job in China. I like what Pakistan is doing right now. They're pretty strong. India, a bit feminist, but I like Indian people, but I think that given the amount of people they have and the level of talent of some of those people, I'd like to see a lot more from India. And many of the other countries I could mention are May I acknowledge Elwood? He writes, I'm planning to move to, Baharda. Do you have any experience with that city? I do not. May I acknowledge Mr. Sarana writes, I thank you for coming live and engaging with people. I look up to you, and every day I learn a lot from you. Your time and efforts are much appreciated. Paying what I owe, just respect. Peace of the saints. I appreciate you. Peace of the saints. Indeed. I think that that's the Indian rupee. If I'm as sharp as I think I am, either that. Yeah, that's the Indian rupee. Shout out to the saints in India, unless that's the Japanese yen, but I'm pretty sure that was a rupee. Somebody help a brother out. Help a brother out. May I acknowledge Carter supporting the work. He writes, peace of the saints. The Tyler character is really just a fall guy. We all know it was really Hamas that did it. Hashtag. Bro, I'm trying to tell you. He says, hashtag send BB more money. May I acknowledge? Cameron writes, tuition coming to the plantation for the fight. Who you got, Saint? Peace of saints. Listen, man, I got Canelo because the fact of the matter is, though, Bud, and you guys have to understand, when I tell you who I got in the fight, a lot of times either I know the fighter or I've met the fighter. In some rare cases, I've sparred the fighter. In many cases, I've seen them spar. So I have a greater sense of what is likely to happen. I'll give you an example. I used to be in a gym with Caleb Plant. I remember one time Justin Gamper, his trainer, had asked me to spar him. And I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good, actually. I think I'm good. I'm good. But point is that, I've been around Caleb Plant many times, and we're about the same build, about the same build when we're in fighting shape and walking around, about the same height. And I've been around Canelo. And when they were fighting, I was at the fight, by the way. I was at the fight. Great seats. Caleb Plant did so well for that whole fight up until maybe it was the 8th round that he could have won on the scorecards. He was doing a great job. Now, it's exhausting to run for 12 rounds, right? Which a lot of it was running and being elusive, which is boxing. He was also getting in some good shots, working some combinations. And then eventually he got hit with something, which is the sport of boxing. You pretty much not going to get out alive, right? You're going to get hit. So that being the case, Bud, whom I've also been around, and by the way, drop my IG for people so they can see how bosses live. I got a picture in there with Bud, so you can see, if you've met me in person, you can see Bud's size in relation to my size. Now, it's funny because Bud, I want to say, is maybe like half an inch taller than Canelo. And I'm not talking about from the date. I'm talking about meeting them. He's about half an inch taller than Canelo. but Canelo is very solidly constructed. Bud is definitely an athlete, good black athlete, but he's naturally slender, whereas Canelo is naturally like a little bit more solidly constructed. We can see clearly that Canelo has the power. Bud has skill and finesse. He has good footwork, decent head movement. I think that Bud's defense is overrated. He's a great tactician offensively. He is phenomenal at adjusting. He can go southpaw. He can go traditional. I think that's going to be a great advantage to him. And we know that Canelo can sometimes get locked into the same thing, throwing the same combinations. But we've seen both of them go up against people who are bigger than them. And when it happens, we saw that Bud didn't make a good showing. Canelo didn't make a phenomenal showing, but he's done it multiple times, and he's looked decent most of the time. And there were other times where he just couldn't get his, was it Bivol he went against? He just couldn't get it off. But he didn't look bad. And he was going up against people with significant weight. And you have to remember, they're about the same height. Canelo's a little shorter. So Canelo's used to boxing guys who are big, guys who are strong. So when he's boxing people his own size, his natural strength and stockiness, he's able to get his bully on. And he's a Mexican fighter. So he's going to hunt you down for 12 rounds. Eventually, you're going to get tired of running. Eventually, your defense is going to fail. You're going to get hit with something hard, and it's going to keep coming, and it's going to be relentless. And the most important thing to understand is that Crawford's defense is not great. And in addition to his defense it's good, but it's not great. It's not Floyd level. People act like he's the GOAT. No, don't be crazy. It's not Floyd level defense. And also we have to remember that after Floyd embarrassed Canelo became Floyd. All of a sudden you see him shoulder rolling, you see him breaking at the waist, you see him being able to pull counter. So he's learned a lot. He's really seasoned, and he's also had more fights, more mega fights than Crawford. So I think that Canelo's going to get it. If you say, Mark, where would you put your money? I'd number one put my money on Canelo for the win, not necessarily for the knockout, because Crawford is a real professional. He is an expert boxer. He is a great boxer. He's not going to get knocked out in all likelihood. I mean, if Caleb Plant made it through, and the other black guy before Caleb Plant, who was like really well built, super well built, but he didn't get up off that stool. I was at that fight as well. I can't even remember his name. It was like some Italian type name. Some black guy is like an Italian name, but he didn't get off that stool. And the funny thing too is I remember being in the audience. I had floor seats for that one. And as soon as he was walking back to his corner, I turned to my old lady. I was like, he's not getting up off of the stool. I saw it in his eyes. His spirit was broken. So anyways, I say that to say Canelo for the win. And then I'll put a little bit of money on the draw, because it could be a draw. And, you're always going to get paid huge out for the draw. So nothing wrong with putting a couple bucks on the draw, but I would for sure put my money on Canelo for the win. And I wouldn't specify a methodology. I wouldn't specify knockout. I wouldn't specify scorecards. So there you go. Thank you for asking. And it's going to be a damn good fight. I'm very much so looking forward to it. And let me tell you guys this before we get back to the core topic. You guys know I'm the mayor of Vegas. I've been at every mega fight in Vegas. I was at Canelo versus Danny Jacobs. I was at Canelo versus Triple G, which was terrible. It's like super. The last one, man, I wanted to whoop Triple G's ass personally. I've been at the Deontay Wilders. I've been at the Tyson Furies. I've been at all of the major fights in Vegas. I am a fixture at those fights. And I either got floor seats, which is not my favorite seat. My favorite seat is right above the floor, like the first row before you get on the floor, because you have the best line of sight. But I say that to say this. I looked at the ticket prices, and I'm looking at the ticket prices. The cheap floor seats were going for 16 grand a seat. So you want to show up with your old lady, you're out of 35 grand straight away. You want good floor seats, then it's getting just insane. You really need to be like the sheik of Habalabaluba and own an oil mine, an oil field. Like, it was getting ridiculous. I was like, God damn. Like, I didn't even want to pay it. And I love boxing, and I think this is going to be a phenomenal match. But I was looking at them numbers like, ain't no way. I've spent many thousands for boxing tickets, but not that many thousands. Now, granted, I just checked a couple of days ago because I was expecting that I would get a phone call and I would get offered tickets, because a lot of times they offer me tickets. Like, they'll call me up like, hey, we'd love for you to come in, and we got 2 floor seats for you, and we'll comp this, we'll send a limo for you. So either they'll do that or, I'll pay for the tickets and they'll be reasonably priced, like $10,000 a seat. But it's like, damn, the cheap ones are $16,000 a seat. Like, come on, man. Like, this is not right. This is not right. Anyways, carrying on. Thank you for that question. May I acknowledge and shout to Sass in Atlanta. See you guys tomorrow. Looking forward to it. May I acknowledge Gwensley writes, a baller alert from me is overdue. Also, shout out to Mr. Chapman. Excellent customer service. Oh, yeah, Mr. Chapman's a great businessman and a great family man as well. May I acknowledge Mr. Ruffin supporting the work rights. Peace of Saints tuition. Sass in Miami. Shout out to the Saints in Florida, even though we about to blow y'all out next year at the big game conference. Ooh, it's going to be crazy. Shout out to Miss Maury. Says that she sent in an email, and I see the email here. And the email reads, seeing as how people like Officer Tatum, Charlie Kirk, and other debaters won't confront you on YouTube, have you or other Saints ever considered to show up to these debates and confront them? Not because you need the exposure, but to present another side that people may not get to see because you are so suppressed on YouTube. I've actually never considered that. That's primarily because it's just not my style. I'm not really that kind of a character. I let people do their thing. I'm not trying to crash anyone's show. So no, that actually has not crossed my mind. And if I did show up, it ain't going to be the debate. You hear me? I'm showing up like, oh boy, that was on the roof. You didn't really solve the problems. Shout out to Mr. Naeem. He writes, Peace of Saints, there's no way. One of these clowns was actually brave enough to hit that link. All praises due, all praises due. Yeah, these people be wild. It's the attention, man. Shout out to Marcus. He writes, Peace of Saints, I caught another live and supporting the work. Shout out to Marcus, came in a strong way. May also acknowledge Joseph. Sends intuition. Joseph, very consistent. Shout out to Joseph. That man is some sort of a baller. Shout out to Johnny. He writes, Peace of the Saints, tuition. Appreciate you. May also acknowledge Kyle. What the baller alert? He writes, there is no way these people built the pyramids. Not a chance. May I acknowledge Ricardo. He writes, tuition and respect, peace of the Saints. Yes, indeed. Peace of the Saints. May I acknowledge Austin. He writes, bro said he would try to debate Hitler. Bro, that was crazy. Were y'all here? Did you guys hear when the young black fella, Toby, when he said he would try to debate Hitler, like the level of delusion of these like bootlickers, it's just kind of, it's scary. It's scary, man. Like, just think about how nutty you got to be to really think that that's a reasonable idea. He writes, I suppose the Native Americans should have debated Christopher Columbus when he pulled up to the doorstep with a musket and a thirst for blood. Bro, I'm trying to tell you, this man Austin low-key is a genius. I can't wait to see what bro end up doing. Bro is low-key a genius. Shout out to Hills and support the work. I appreciate you, man. I also acknowledge via Venmo, Juan writes, Peace of Saints, for the information and entertaining content. Oh, absolutely. It's truly a pleasure. And I thank you for the support. I also acknowledge Qasim. He writes, Peace of the Saints. An old man happened to get slapped by me last week for shooting me with a water gun. He claimed it was water, but wouldn't let me shoot him back. So I popped him in the face. Rightfully so, bro. I feel you on that one. I know you don't encourage violence. Sometimes they get like that. I was then approached by 3 Middle Easterners who condemned my actions. Oh, that's all good. They can condemn all the hell they want to condemn. You hear me? That's probably why you got the situation in Palestine, because they done softened up. You hear me? They ain't been the same since Bin Laden got took down. He writes saying things like, he's the same age as your father. Well, listen, man, my father do some, and then he gonna have to get it too, man. No one's exempt from contempt. Right is right, wrong is wrong. I then proceeded to explain to them why I did it, and they had nothing to say to it. I was disgusted by them standing for that old man because he was clearly drunk, and he was not just shooting me with water gun, but everyone in the close vicinity. Yeah, that's out, bro. Sometimes it be like that. And I hate them damn Captain Save-a-Hos. Yeah, I hate them. Shout out to Ricardo Rice, Peace of Saints, more tuition, Sasson, Austin in the house. Yes, indeed. Shout out to the Saints in Texas. You dig? Might be dropping through sometime soon. You know, there's nothing worse than people who do not know how to mind their own damn business. Isn't that the worst, man? I'm a master of minding my own business. You guys would be shocked to know how much I do not intervene in other people's lives or livelihoods. You hear me? I let people function, man. I try to stay in my lane because I don't want people bothering me. You feel me? I'm not bothering nobody. I don't want you bothering me. Okay? Thank you. Thank you kindly. Carrying on. May I also acknowledge via Super Chat. Shout out to Marcos. He writes, peace to the saints. Internet dwellers are a strange group of people, but you ain't never lied. He writes, which is why I appreciate the assassin and our commitment to meet in person. Absolutely. Real life. Real men do real things. Shout out to Gary. He writes, how do you feel about Floyd as a fighter? Bro, Floyd is the greatest. Listen to me, man. If somebody says Floyd is not the greatest, that's one of the main things. I'm like, racism is real. Because this ball was so much better than everybody always. That is like, the kid was a virtuoso. If you don't think Floyd is the greatest ever, like you're a nut. You hear me? Like you're the nuttiest of nuts. Shout out to Beza supporting the work. May I acknowledge, even if you look at the data, don't even watch him box. Just look at the boxing data for accuracy. Come on, man. Anyway, shout out to the Saint. He writes, what do you think of the pay gap? What pay gap? He writes, Canelo is making, that one, 8 times more, 100 million to 10 million is business, man. It's business. I mean, part of it is business. The other part is that, and so here's the thing. People say that Bud doesn't have a personality. You know, he's from Omaha, Nebraska, right? He's like low-key kind of guy, simple dude, chill dude. He's not talking crazy. He's a straightforward person. I respect that. That's not going to sell tickets, right? So that's number one. That's not going to sell tickets, that personality. You got to be the supervillain, especially if you're black. And number two, we have to acknowledge that Canelo is viewed so favorably because he has great skills, but it's also his aesthetic. He's a white guy, right? People are like, no, he's Mexican. Like he's Mexican ethnically, but racially, he's a white man. And you're always going to sell better. Just like Eminem. Are there better black rappers than Eminem? For sure. Even Eminem will tell you that. But he's white, and so he's going to sell better. And whites have liquidity, so they're a significant consumer. And so you'd be smart to make products that they want to consume. For example, when I'm in Europe, I remember I was in the club in Latvia, in Riga, in Latvia. And they're playing Eminem in the club. And I'm over here like, yo, what the hell is wrong with you people? But it's simple. Like rap is popular and Eminem is a white rapper. So we're going to play Eminem, even though it's not danceable music. And hey, we're Europeans anyways. We don't really dance any guy. We listen to techno. So it doesn't matter. But I say that to say in America, you never play Eminem in the club because he doesn't make danceable music. But in Latvia, man, they his shit slapping over there. I also heard Eminem being played in Poland, in Krakow, Poland, many times. He's a white rapper. They can identify. He looks like them or similar to them, looks like their kids. I mean, it makes sense. Shout out to, so I say that's the issue with the pay disparity. And the crazy thing is for years, Canelo didn't really speak any English. So bro be at the press conference with a damn translator. His English game is coming together. So shout out to Canelo. Love to see it. Za writes, I watched the film Bardock, the father of Goku. I feel it has a powerful message on a single man fighting against the elite. I hope you watch a piece of, bro. It sounds like an anime, so I'm gonna go ahead and probably give you probably not gonna see that, but hey, you never know. Never say never. Shout to Nomad writes, your Arabic is good. Do you take any lessons? I do not take any lessons. He writes, I enjoy your content. If a 34-year-old man is not interested in having kids, what does that tell you? It tells you that bro doesn't want to have kids. I mean, he could have many reasons. He could want freedom. He could not want responsibility. He could want kids. He might be having challenges finding an appropriate woman. There's many explanations for that. But I think that it'll be in his best interest to have children. But one thing I can assure you is that anyone who does not want to have children, they should not have children. If you don't want to have children, you should not have children. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. You need to really want to have children when you have them. So there's just no doubt about that. And with regards to the pay disparity between Crawford and Canelo, which is an insane gap, if Crawford wins, then he'll be the A side moving forward. So, that's a smart business decision to take that fight. Even David Benavidez, I bet, would have taken that fight with that kind of a pay gap. Shout out to Jinxie supporting the work.